All right, we're hovering at 96% CPU usage right now.
Hey.
Whoa, baby. So's my
If
brain.
we just hold here for the night, all the frames will still
Hold
fit.
the line.
We'll still be
Hold.
good.
Everybody make a lot of movement so his CPU has to process more things.
We're stress testing. We're stress testing.
Yeah, so then my players rebel
wave.
and just destroy. They're trying to break out from the inside of my computer here. It's like, how did you guys get stuck in the screen anyway? You push it outwards.
That's the motion we're doing.
Josh secretly trapped us and no one realizes it because we've been having so much fun.
Yeah, this has all just been for my amusement this whole time. Okay, so here's what I've found out. I found out that we can be live. Oh, I haven't started Kenku yet. Let's make sure that Kenku works.
That's important.
Yeah, if I play music in Kenku.
Is Kenku from Cancun?
Yeah, Kenku.
Can do.
Okay, and Kenku works. And we're still good. We're still in mid 90s for CPU. So the only thing I can't do is I can't watch on Twitch. So I will have no idea if you are. I mean, I guess I've got the chat up here, and it usually overlays when you spend points. So probably it's fine. But
we can let
I
you
can
know.
watch. I can watch chat.
oh yeah, actually that's a good idea, Julie. If you just keep the chat up as a little backup there, in case
I gotta
spent
get
points.
feathers somehow.
Yeah, that's right. Somebody's got to get feathers in this place. Cool. Okay, well, that was a lot of intro. First, the bumper just played out of nowhere, and then my computer exploded. But now, here we are, back at the virtual gaming table, if you will. And we're going to begin tonight's adventure, not on the airship, not in the city of Geim, but actually, we're going to begin tonight's adventure somewhere in the vicinity of south central Urida, between the mountain range where one can find stainless. Let me put the map up there on screen. Let me just orient you here. So rust-free, now known as stainless. We're between rust-free and Geim here, where the green of the plains gives way to the tan of the desert, if you will. That sort of border area here. And in that location, we join our friends Gunner and Jebediah Peppermint. Gunner, foot down on the accelerator of the cypher truck. Jebediah in the back seat, frantically, well, probably not frantic at this point, but definitely very focused in on using his magical abilities to preserve the frozen tier of Thraxenhau the Ice Dragon, one of the components you need for the big ritual that is to come. Take me into what the vibe has been like for most of the trip. You know, how has the interaction been between the two of you? Is it tense? Is it relaxed? How are things in the truck? You've been mostly unassailed because Gunner's gone out of his way to avoid anybody, but that does mean it's been a little bit of a longer journey than it could have been otherwise. You know, just take us into the space here in the cypher truck.
Well, I mean, is it you're telling me it doesn't just stay frozen? I thought that, like, if it was magic or something, like something really like special like that, maybe it would just like magically stay that way.
Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't make sense. I mean, it's a tear. Maybe it's salty. Maybe it's just like the fact that it came out of a dragon's eye. I don't know. But it's getting melty, and that's not good. So this
If
is
you're
what we got to
thinking
do.
about, have you tried to lick it? Do you know if it's salty?
I mean, maybe a little, but don't tell anybody.
I wouldn't tell a soul. The intrusive thoughts sometimes, you know.
Well, you know, yeah. And, you know,
have to do with
sitting back
but-
here in the back is just kind of boring. I'm just sitting here casting ice on it, and I was like, what else am I going to do? I'm like, you know, your brain's just like, lick it, man. Just lick it.
Yeah.
And you're like, no, that's stupid. But, you know, 3 days go by.
Gunner, I would like you to make a perception check from your seat in the front, kind of steering and driving. And also, how are you steering and driving? Have you opted to sit on the top of the carriage and use real horses or oxen or rote? Or have you opted to sit inside and burn some wingle digits to make the drive?
We're burning some wingle digits.
Cool. Quieter, less tracks. I get it.
Yeah. Perception. Oh, that's not very good. That's a 4.
That's a 4. You don't notice until they're almost on top of you that there are several mounted creatures chasing you. They are on a mixture of horseback and zebra back. They're wielding what looks to be ranged weapons, rifles, bows, those sorts of things. There are 6 of them that you can see galloping along near you and next to you, and you can see that they are wearing the attire of the private security goons' forces as they are kind of bearing down upon you. The sun going down in the distance is leaving you in kind of like that dusky twilight sort of situation. And because, as we've just established, you're kind of on the open plains in the desert, there's not a whole lot of cover for you to get to. It's kind of a matter of, can you outrun them or not? Is there anything you're going to try besides just like slam the gas?
Where are they coming from? Did they come from behind us and catch up? Are they like,
they have fallen in from behind you. So they're pursuing from behind.
Oh, okay. Gunner is going to, he's going to like turn back. Hey, I think we're being followed by, some goons. Do you have a minute to, take this? And Gunner's going to like, hand back an explosive.
Yeah.
Can you,
yeah. What?
All right.
And when he does that, Jeb's actually going to cast Enhance Ability on Gunner, and I'm going to give you advantage on what would you use for driving? Would that be like your dexterity?
Did we argue at some point that it could be survival?
Yeah, we argued it could be survival or animal handling.
Gunner uses survival.
So wisdom checks then.
Okay. And then Gunner will say, all right, so you see the pin on the top? Don't touch it yet.
Okay, yeah, that one right there.
What I want you to do is crack open a back door, pull the pin, toss the grenade out. I call them grenades. I think it's a good name for it.
Nice.
Toss it out, and it should slow them down. Sound
Okay.
good? All right.
Yep. And I'm going to crack the back window, like the little flap, pull the pin, and drop it.
So you're just dropping it basically right on the ground where you were.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, how far away are they?
They're
I'll wait
gaining.
for them to get a little close.
They're, you know, probably between 50 and 100 feet away right now. So that's probably
I'm not
pretty
going to
good
try
timing.
and lob it. I'm just going to try and like drop it.
Great. So you pull out the pin, ding, and you drop the grenade on the ground, and it kind of disappears backwards into the sound of galloping hooves, and you see it kind of vanish into the dust cloud. And then I would like Cleo's going to roll a d20, and Trevor's going to roll a d20. And Trevor's goal is to roll below what Cleo rolled. So Cleo, don't tell us what you rolled. Trevor's going to tell us the number first, and then we're going to see how it goes.
I have my number.
Okay, go ahead and tell us your number.
It is a natural 20.
Cleo, what did you roll? A natural 1? No way. Unfortunately, only the back 2 riders are taken out by the grenade. The others make it past before the fuse explodes, and the rush continues in your direction. They're kind of still galloping and stampeding along behind you.
All right.
I think we got a couple of them.
Ideas. Yeah, great.
I'll take care of the rest of these.
Perfect. I'm just gonna keep going straight unless you tell me to. Then I can try.
As you continue going
Bruiser
straight,
fancy
you see a flare shoot past into the air, kind of arcing over top of the cypher truck. So Gunnar, you see this bright red kind of flare lob out into the distance over the desert, sort of illuminating. It looks like just the path you're taking, but it kind of goes up into the air and then it burns out with a little fizzle.
If that thing blew up at the end of it, it'd be way cooler. But anyway, all right. I think they're calling in more.
Jeb, what are we doing?
How in a line are they? The 2
they're
remaining.
kind of fanned out. There are 4 remaining. You took out 2, 4 remain, and they are fanned out like Wild West style, you know. So It's just a wall of 4 of them.
Well, I don't want to. You know what? Let's do a beefed up magic missile,
Okay,
and I'm going to target their mounts.
great. How much damage is your beefed up magic missile doing?
Well, the beefing up is more darts. So let's see. It starts at 3. Let's dump a 4th level into it. So that'll be 6 total. We'll do 3 on each side.
Great. So basically, you have one miss, basically, on each side that you
They
can do.
don't miss.
Or not miss, one failed attempt to knock someone over, right? Because your goal is to trip up the mounts, right?
Sure. I mean, it might kill the mounts.
Okay. Go ahead and roll damage for me.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of D4s.
Well, please hold a second while I grab all my D4s.
No worries. We'll just let the intense music play while nothing in particular happens.
You roll per dart, not one roll for all darts.
4, 5, 6. That is 18 damage divided by 2, so 9 damage to each of these zebras.
Okay. 9 damage to each of the 4 zebras. None of them die. But one of them falls over, dumping its rider on the ground. So now there are 3 of them that are following you. One of them raises the rifle up to shoulder height.
I thought you said there was 2 left.
No, there's 4.
There were 6. You knocked out 2. 4 remaining. You just knocked out 1 more. So there's 3 remaining.
My bad.
Kind of fanned out. They're kind of, one centered and then 1 to your left and 1 to your right. The one in the center raises up the rifle of ice knife that he's carrying, takes aim down the sights. He's going to roll an attack at disadvantage, and you have concealment as well. So I think concealment is a percentage mischance in this edition, but I don't remember off the top of my head. I'll look it up here in a second. Oh, okay. Cool. That works. He rolled an 18 to hit you with no, he didn't. It's disadvantage. He takes the worst one. He rolled a 5. Definitely doesn't hit you. Also, Wash's camera just like plonked out. Oh, he's back. Rolled a 5. So he takes a shot at you, and the ice knife ding kind of ricochets off the back of the cypher truck, and a little bit of the cold kind of spirals out from the point of impact. Little frost icicles kind of climbing in a maybe a 3-inch kind of circle from the point where it smacked into the cypher truck. The 2 next to him each appear to be kind of readying, but waiting for a better opportunity to hit you. They're not willing to take the risk on the concealment, taking that shot at you. Gunner, up in the front, I'd like you to roll a check for me. We're going to see if you're going to gain any distance on the mounts. The DC to beat is a 15.
All right.
So you're not going to lose distance. This is just, do you pull away or not?
I got a 27, so I think
27.
Yeah.
Gunner is pulling significantly further ahead. You're pretty sure that, Jeb, they're still in range to make one more attack, but at this speed, you should lose them the next time that Gunner has a chance to pull ahead.
Okay.
As far as initiative order is concerned, that'll kind of bring us back to Jeb here. What would you like to do, Jeb?
Have I had has a number of days of travel gone by? Do I have
Yes, a number
fresh
of days of
spells?
travel have gone by. So you've got spells except for whatever you're using to keep the
right?
the thing cold. I would say just pick like a middle level spell slot and deduct 2, and we'll say that's kind of what you've been using to keep the tier cold.
Okay. Well, let's
Sorry about the squealing. That's my mic.
I'm gonna bump it up a little bit, and we are going to do a scorching ray.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Well,
you are.
No.
No, you're not. Just kidding. You're not doing that.
Well, he looks at the at the dragon's tier that's like ice, and he's like,
Oh, yeah.
I want to fire off these rays of fire." We're gonna do some more magic missiles, but
Okay.
he's gonna upcast it again.
Okay, are you attacking the mounts again?
Yeah.
Okay, all 3 mounts die. They were very low hit points, but I'm going to give a dexterity save to the 2 who were kind of waiting for their moment to like realize they're going down and take a shot at you.
Okay.
Both of them passed, so there are 2 more
One of them
ice rifle
is
shots
going
coming
to
at
get
you.
a chronal shift on that.
Okay, I'll roll the next one. That one fell out of my hand. I won't count it. 14. Does that? I don't know why I said does that pass your spell save? It's a dex save, and the DC was 15. So only one of them is going to take the shot.
Okay.
So you see one of them like raises up his rifle, and Jeb notices in time and kind of casts the spell, and you see him. He kind of blurs, and because he's already falling, now he's not fast enough. And so although he's trying to do the same motion, he hits the ground before he can get you in his sights. The other one stands up in the saddle, and so he kind of like almost like he's surfing down a wave. He like picks up the rifle as the zebra falls to the ground, and he's going to make his shot at disadvantage. He rolled a 10 both times, which plus his mods is a 14. Does that pass your AC considering you have concealment? Partial concealment.
It does not.
Okay. Another ding as the ice rifle kind of bounces off the back. This one's even a little bit closer than the first one was. So it maybe hits like right at the seal, where the window would be weather sealed, and kind of like sprays a little bit of ice on your face, but not any that like damages you. And then he too goes down, and there's a brief moment where you think maybe you've lost them. Gunner, it's you in the front who realizes that you haven't, because the reinforcements they called are on their way following that flare.
All right. Are they coming from the front, like coming at us?
Yeah, they're coming from the front, coming at you.
All right.
And there are 3 shadow creatures riding like war dogs, basically, like huge Malamute-sized dogs towards you. Just like rushing towards you, a little bit of dust and smoke kind of blowing up behind them as the night is probably getting from dusky. Now it's getting into true dark,
Well, their cavalry's here, and it does not look very nice. Gunner is going to... What is Gunner going to do? I think Gunner is going to follow the Owlin playbook a little bit and kind of play chicken with, basically point out, like, he's going to single out... can he single out who he thinks might be the most susceptible to, like, if he just, like, barreled at him, that they might
he
be the
could
first one
definitely
to
give it a
chicken
try.
out?
This is going to be a pretty tough roll since they're far away from you right now, riding towards you to, like, read their body language, but you can definitely go for it. We'll set the DC at 18.
I got an 11.
Okay, so you can't really figure out which of them is...
Chronal shift.
Oh, he gets another shot at it.
Oh, you also, if this is a wisdom check, you have advantage on it from your enhance ability.
Oh, you're right. So you didn't
So
need
go ahead
the
and roll
chronal
your
shift.
chronal shift with advantage there.
19.
19. That beats an 18. You are able to determine that they all seem pretty confident, but if one of them was going to break, you think it would be the leftmost one.
Okay. All right. Tell me if this sounds terrible, but I'm gonna play chicken with the one on the left.
That sounds like the good kind of terrible.
All right. I like you.
So here's what I want you to
bets. Place your bets.
Gunner, here's what I want you to do. I want you to roll intimidation.
Okay.
And we're going to treat the fact that you're using the vehicle's engine as like you're using a tool to assist you, basically. So you can roll intimidation with advantage against their like charisma check, basically, to avoid being intimidated. They rolled high.
Thank you, advantage. That is a dirty 20.
Okay, so as you kind of rev up the magical engine, it sounds more like the Batmobile in The Dark Knight than like a car engine. There's kind of like that high pitch sort of noise as it goes, and then that like deep guttural like rumbling as it kind of propels itself across the ground. And they're riding towards you. You can hear the wolf howling, the wolves howling through the night air, kind of rings and echoes around you. And there's this closing towards. We kind of zoom out and we see you closing towards each other from above. You've got the one plume of smoke or dust coming out behind you. They're kicking up all kinds of dirt and debris as they're racing towards you. And then almost completely out of left field, you've been eyes locked on left guy you're trying to intimidate. You're rushing towards him. He's rushing towards you. He does not seem like he's about to break. They're maybe 20 feet away from you when something massive blurs out from one of the sides and leaps horizontally across them, knocks all 3 of them over, and you hear this snarl And then another thing blurs past and jumps on top of the pile. A third jumps past. And you realize as you're looking out the window, it's actually probably Jeb who puts it together first because he's seen them before. You are looking at 3 of the royal dire wolves from Udril who have just leapt into them. And you see standing behind them on the ground holding the Rod of Constitution. The king of Udril with the remaining 9 of the 12 royal wolves of Udril, standing there, and he looks towards you and kind of waves you over, like trying to get you to pull over.
We need to go towards that guy. He's a good guy. He's a really, really, really good guy. He's a great guy. We need to go towards him.
All right, I like this stick that he's holding. And
yeah, it's a good stick. It's one of these, and Jeb like waves the Rod of Luck.
It's a good stick.
As you drive towards him, he kneels on the ground and sets the Rod of Constitution sort of in place so it's standing vertically. He steps forward so that he's almost like the hero stance, one knee up, but he's standing on top of the Rod of Charisma, and he points towards where the shadow creatures have been pinned by 3 of his wolves, and he howls on the wind, and the ground fissures in a line from the Rod of Constitution out to where the creatures are. They fall into it, and then it slams shut again.
Oh, geez.
And the 3 wolves kind of get up and very gently walk back over and like sit down for pets. As you pull to a stop, he comes up to the window and he says, "Your airship landed recently. They explained your situation. I rode out to meet you because it is not safe for you to approach from the ground level. Geim is besieged. We need to take you another way. I know a way through the Underdark that they have not yet found." And so he basically is there to escort you back to the city of Geim. I'm assuming you're going to go with him.
Yeah.
Your Majesty, you are a sight for sore eyes. It's good to see you again. And yeah.
It's
I'm
good to see you too. Thank you. Yes, we haven't had much cause for hunting in many, many decades, but the wolves are fed great at this time. And you kind of follow him down a little, like a little tunnely looking, not quite as organic as the dirt folk tunnels, not quite as rough hewn as a dwarven structure, but just sort of like maybe a naturally occurring cave that's been widened a bit where it needs to be. It's not wide enough the whole way through for the cypher truck. The question is, will you leave the cypher truck in the open so that you can tell a Dragonel to come fetch it and bring it back? Or will you hide the cypher truck in the ravine so that it's not as easy to be seen, but it'll be harder to get, like a Dragonel can't fit in this tunnel to come get it? What would you like to do?
I mean, you're the boss. We seem to hide this thing pretty often. So I think that's somewhat of a safe bet, but depends on whether you think we'll need it soon.
Yeah. I mean, if we have the time, I can just mold earth around it and make it fit in the edge of the cave, kind of help keep it out of the way a little bit. Let's do that.
We'll close this up behind us. It's not big enough to flee or evacuate the city anyway.
Let's go ahead and Gunner, back it up in here a little, and I'll just like, I'm just like shaving earth off of the side of the cave and moving stone around and like, and then waving, like flagging back.
So yeah, Gunner's gonna put it in reverse, and I mean that's cool that it actually has a backup warning sound. I wouldn't have expected.
Yeah, it's really
that.
terrible for when you're trying to be stealthy, but for instances like this where I can clearly see you backing up, it's quite useful.
Very nice.
Glad that's canon now.
Well, I guess the other times you've hidden it, you've always driven it forwards, right? Even when you impaled it in the woods.
You know, Gunner, I'm impressed that you actually found the reverse. Like that's never been used on this thing before.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even think I've seen Bruiser use it. I mean, Bruiser just drifts into positions.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah. Bruiser's like, you mean that R like does something?
It's cooler this way.
I only know the numbers that make it go. So you successfully hide the cypher truck, you mold earth around it, and basically you just fully seal up this tunnel. So it's not accessible from the outside area at all. And in doing so, you kind of establish your passage to the city of Geim. And the Dwarven King explains to you as you're on your way there, your companions arrived in an airship yesterday. They sent, us out to come and find you because we heard about your situation. And we'll bring you back. You should be there by morning. So it's probably like an overnight journey for the two of you. And you know what that means. It means it's story time at the Wing Badger Tavern, and it will be right back. Yay. Welcome back to the Wing Badger Tavern, where friends tell stories. Let's meet the players for tonight's Dungeons and Dragons adventure.
Hello, I am Jake, and I play Gunnar, who talks like this. And he is a Hematetian mastermind rogue. I also play Alan, the Azamar artificer barbarian.
I think you're muted.
Hello, I am Cleo. I never forget to unmute, and doing a little bit of ASMR for no apparent reason. But I'm a rogue changeling sometimes, and my name's Fox. But I'm a rogue changeling sometimes, and I don't mess up my intro ever.
Hello, I'm Trevor. I am clearly not muted. I play Bruiser, the Wing Badger Inquisitive Rogue, who is, well, it sounds like we landed in Geim, but piloting the chief pilot on the airship.
And hey, I'm Wash. I play Jebediah Peppermint, the Molefolk gun wizard who spits fire and fires spit. And I also play Radford the White, the white dragonborn monk who likes to kick things and fix the shoes that he uses to kick things with.
Good for him. And I'm Josh, the Wing Badger Game Master, and I am not the last person who needs to make an introduction tonight because we have a fifth with us.
Woo!
Hi, friends. I'm Will of the Wisp, and I will be playing Clara Albuquerque,
She's back.
the most wonderful fairy dragon you ever done meet.
But we don't
If
meet
you-
Clara just yet. Instead, we find ourselves about a day and a half earlier as the airship led down by the bronze dragon is descending into Geim. Now, the city of Geim, you can actually see if you're watching us. You can see kind of some concept art of Geim behind our cameras here. But Geim is built into a mountain, so it's almost like a big crater that's just been made much, much deeper. And rather than being open at the top like a volcano, it's a closed roof with some holes to let shafts of light in. However, since you last visited Geim, those openings, those skylights have been widened to make enough room for a small to medium-sized dragon to enter and exit. Basically, the dragons from Fladena that have been helping kind of patrol the skies and keep people safe are using that as their egress point. And they have, on the 10th tier, the top level of Geim, they have changed some of the pendants that would normally be city block sized. They have changed some of those to be more like landing pads, where they've kind of demolished the buildings that would be on top of them. Instead, it's just this huge chain anchored to the roof of the city, and then kind of a big flat stone platform there. And so the dragon kind of guides you down to one of those stone platforms. And your arrival has attracted an awful lot of attention. Owlin, you're kind of standing on that back ramp that lowers to become your boarding and exiting area. Hey, Loophole King. So you land, and the first thing that happens is someone down there just looks up at you and goes, "Sup?" It's the Loophole King standing there on the platform saying "sup" to you, which is pretty cool. But there's also a bunch of other people who are like here to demand things of you. You know, the airships don't come and go from here very often. It's dragons who are coming in and out. And so for one, the platform is not quite big enough for an airship. Your airship's not gigantic, but it sleeps 25. You know, it's mega yacht sized. And so as you come down to the platform, you can see a couple members of the army of Geim who are kind of like pushing back, passers-by and peasants and townsfolk and whatnot. And you really get a sense at this point in time for how bad things are in Geim. You can see, the top tier of Geim was never rich, but now it's like dilapidated. Trash is littering the streets. The walkways that connect the different city blocks, those pendants, they're just clogged with refugees. Tents have been just set up anywhere they can go. Geim is the last free city in Urada right now. So it's people from everywhere. You see dirt folk and you see tieflings and you see elves and you see gnomes and, everyone is just here kind of crammed into the streets. The residential areas that are normally there in Geim, which are the walls of the city, have all these kind of apartments built into them. All of the balconies of the apartments have extra people sleeping on them. Rather than hearing the noise of street performers playing music and, machinery working and the blacksmiths of the stacks hammering away, instead what you hear are babies crying and tense whispers and hurried footsteps. The occasional, city guard shouting for order or trying to keep things happening. Way down below, if you kind of lean over the airship and you look the whole way down to the bottom of this 1,200 foot, mega cavern, basically, down on the lowest tier where the royal palace is, you can see great big lights, Wingle digit powered lights, where, there's a lot of military apparatus that's been arrayed by the doors to the Underdark, trying to make sure that nothing sneaks in there. Above you, all of the entrances along the walls that would lead you out into the mountain range, they're all staffed by battalions of soldiers and little squads and patrols. And there's, messengers are flurrying around like ants back and forth between them, kind of coordinating all of the military's efforts in analog, so to speak, right? They can't use like message spells or anything like that. And Wingle digits are precious in a siege city. So there's a lot of like couriers just taking messages back and forth. And so as you land in this kind of dark reflection of what Geim once was, Alan, you're standing on that back ramp. You are sort of hit in the face with the brunt of the demands. And so we're going to have, everybody's going to demand things of you at once. The other players are going to play people with demands of you. So Trevor, you are representative of a soldier who's trying to get news of the outer world. How are things going out there? What's the army doing? That kind of information. Wash, you are representative of various civilians and passersby who all want news from a different place. So people who want news of Tumbleweb or what's happening to their family in Udril, or they're concerned about Aspesh or whatever. You can just kind of keep adding people to the throng and improvising as you will. I've got someone that I'm going to be playing as, and Cleo is going to be reprising her role as Wigbert, the snooty palace attendant who always has something that's being done improperly to complain about. And so as Bruiser deftly guides the airship to not the gentlest of stops, because the landing pad's the wrong size, but it's not damaging or scary. There's just kind of a solid dunk, and the ramp descends, and immediately everyone begins talking at once.
Mr. Allen, I have news from the army outside.
Sir, up there. I need your attention over here. You can't just bring this in here without food. Are you going to be handing out food to everyone?
What of Udril? You have a station there. What of Udril?
Yes, I am sorry. If I could point, yes. What did you say about from the army outside? We just were flying over. We haven't
there's no
received
time to
any
talk
news
about
yet.
that. We're out of food. Did you bring us foodstuffs?
No, I have news.
Wigbert, you're muted. We need to know about the food.
Yes, we have food stored in the galley on the ship underneath.
Someone begins kind of pushing past you on the ramp, trying to get into the galley as the monks inside are trying to push their way out. Like, let us off this ship, trying to get out of the ship.
Yes, if you make way this way. Yes.
Calm down. You all need to fill out the proper forms. You haven't filled out.
Wigbert, if I assure you, if you talk to the queen, she will be expecting
My
us.
temple in Tumbleweb.
They fill out the forms every
does it remain?
time.
Does it remain
I'm-
in Tumbleweed?
I'm sorry. We have not
confiscated
stopped by. We have not
need
stopped
more
by
food.
Tumbleup. I apologize
This
if you
farm right now, you need to pay a fee.
if you speak to
Dragonelle's waiting. That you've taken their landing pad.
Wigbert, I'm sorry. If you speak to my helmsman Bruiser, he will sort you out. And the rest.
Well, send him here immediately. The queen's very upset. I assure you.
I'm sorry,
It's
I'm-
not just me. Definitely not.
Speaking of the queen, where is she? I need to speak to her.
You will deal with it after you've paid your fines.
I assure you that we do not owe any fines. I'm sorry. If I may find the
I'm
reticulator.
counting the time.
Alan is going to try
need a
to
maid?
Alan is going to as politely as possible try to weave through and find the reticulator.
You
and
can't just walk away from
Roll-
this.
Wigbert, as I
what
said,
should Alan roll to navigate the crowd? What should that be?
gosh,
Intimidation.
Alan doesn't want to intimidate. If anything, it could be like a charisma because he is like
Sure.
trying to do it politely.
Yeah,
and
let's
try
have
to
roll
like.
charisma. Everybody else roll charisma as well. This is just whether he can shake them or not. It's not like they're going to compel him into action, but it's just how many people are tagging along with him as he continues his journey.
I would like to resource you to Bruiser, Wigbert. He is by the helm, and then the rest of you. I'm sure one of you is already finding their way to the galley, and it will all be sorted out. I just need to speak with the Queen and with Laredith. Alan got a 12 on charisma.
Okay, how many of you are tagging along with Alan?
I got a 5.
I got a 13.
Okay, so
I got a 13.
so Wigbert and like a random assortment of peasants from other areas are just stuck crowded around you as you're trying to make your way to the edge of the
Alan.
pendant. And
As you're in the elevator, there's an older dirt folk man and his wife in there, and he turns to you and says, "Hey, I remember you. You stayed at our place in Red Hill."
Yes, that feels like a long time ago.
Have you heard anything from Red Hill? Is it still there?
I sadly have not heard anything. My
Well,
travels.
now
haven't
that
been
you've
were,
caught
there.
him, I'm sure you have time to pay your fines.
You spent some time there talking about with that crazy person who still believed in their god, and I'm starting to think maybe they were right.
Well, I think with everything that's happening in the world, it's hard to tell what's right and what's wrong. But I believe that we still can bring the gods back. I think that we must believe that. And Wigbert, I would like to politely ask you to refrain from speaking about fines until we are in contact with the Queen.
Just ignored me.
I'm not ignoring you, Wigbert. I just
The audacity of this. No.
ding!
Oh, don't mind
Tier
him. He's
9.
just a highfalutin person.
I agree.
Reticulator
Highfalutin
doors.
is-
The reticulator doors open on the 9th tier. If you'll recall, the reticulators are located in the city hall or the central pendant of each tier. And so you've made it through. You're out of the 10th tier. You're on the 9th tier. And you didn't really notice on the 10th tier because you had this huge throng of people around you. But on the 9th tier, it's much more apparent to you what's actually going on in the gemstone halls, which is that they have been converted into like food banks basically. And like the rations are being handed out to people. And as you kind of exit the verticulator and you're about to make your way to the 8th floor verticulator, probably at this point, Bruiser and Fox and everyone have just managed to kind of catch up. They're probably getting in the verticulator on the 10th tier. Just as you're thinking about whether to wait for them or just keep going or whatever, you hear a familiar voice over in the soup kitchen line.
Here's your swill, honey. Eat up. It tastes better if you have a smile on. It's not what any of us want, but it's what we got.
A small girl sitting there waiting for her food goes, "When are we going to have good food again?"
I'm not sure, baby. But you hang in there. You're doing great.
But this stuff tastes like cardboard.
I've actually tasted much better cardboard.
Looking a little confused, the girl kind of toddles away, and the next person in line comes up. An older woman comes up and holds out her tray.
Hi, sweetheart. You're looking gorgeous today. Just remember, if you ever come over to my tavern when all this is over, it's gonna taste nothing like this. We'll never speak of this again. Here's your swill, baby.
Thanks, Clara. And she kind of continues, and the line continues moving.
Yeah, Alan's gonna approach and, not in line for the food, but just approach and once kind of made eye contact, he's gonna say, "It is a welcome surprise to see a friendly face here."
Hello, you with the beard. You look familiar. Hi, honey.
Hi. It's
What was your name again?
I'm Alan. I was just realizing that it has been since we appeared in your tavern. Is that correct?
You were one of my bipedals. Yes. You were with the little foxy one.
Yes, that is correct. From what I hear, you two had another
we had
a
bit of an encounter. He's like a stain I can't get out of my apron. Just can't get rid of that fella. How's he doing? Is he around here?
Yes, I believe. I mean,
Ding! Ninth tier, and Fox himself pokes out of the verticulator, followed by the rest of those of you who are on the airship.
I think of him as more of a unipedal nowadays.
Where are you, Alan?
So I try to disarm him with humor.
Alan, with his tall body and long arms, will raise a hand to show.
Oh, there
Fox.
he is. Easy to pick out of a crowd.
Yes, Fox is.
Oh,
here.
there he is.
Oh.
Here you go, honey. She's passing out food that it could be porridge, it could be bread, it could be anything. It's just a lump of something.
Have you ever heard of a seasoning, honey?
You know what, baby? I brought as much as I could, but we're all out. We got nothing left. But if you wear it with a smile, if you eat it with a smile, it tastes a little bit better. That's what I'm telling people.
I heard they're getting oregano on their porridge down on that first tier.
Well, you know what? If you believe hard enough, I'm kidding. It tastes awful. There's nothing I can do about it.
He just stomps off. The next, the line keeps moving, basically.
This is never what I really pictured for myself. Things were going pretty good recently.
You're doing charity work?
Hello, baby. Hello, it's the little one.
Oh, well.
Did you find... You were looking for something. Did you find what you were looking for?
Ways. Yes.
Legless, stringy.
Okay, look, you're finding all the wrong adjectives. That's all that matters.
I love you, and you know it. You were looking for something. Here you go, baby. No, enjoy. It's gonna be okay. You were looking for something recently. Did you find what you were looking for?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Not here right now, but we did.
Are you lying to me? You would not do this to me, would you?
No, I'm
okay.
I'm not lying. Not this. Not ever.
All right. I just want to let you know. So over Clara's shoulder, down the line somewhere, and headed this way, there is a very small winged badger who is juggling. Come here, Miles. Come meet the nice folk. You've met some of them. He's just not very good with food. It's too heavy for him. But we're trying to get, it's dinner and a show. We're trying to entertain, especially the little ones. They got to keep their spirits up. This is
Bruiser,
Miles.
Perks up a bit when he sees another winged badger.
To be clear, this is like a teeny winged badger, almost mechanical in nature.
A badger
if you
with
will.
wings.
Almost like the size of maybe a homunculus would be.
Nothing. That's fine.
Yeah, Bruiser, this is like your cousin, right?
He doesn't talk very much, but I love a silent type. Love a silent type. What's up, baby?
That is extremely familiar.
Here you go, honey. Enjoy your TV dinner.
Do you remember what you named him?
His name is
Brad?
clearly Miles.
It was Brad.
Brad?
Brad cocks his little head and looks at Alan.
I did not realize that you still What happened to Brad? I don't remember. It was
Brad got
so long ago.
confiscated when you went to Fladena because the dragons thought it looked like slippery trickery, and so it was confiscated. And they said they'd return it to you when you left, but you left smuggled out in a key lime pie, so you never went to go pick it up. You like fled the city basically because Sir Topham Sav was sniffing around.
You know, he's one of my favorite pieces of my horde. I just had to bring him with me. But he you know, somebody bought their dinner with this guy once. I was like, I must have him. Look how cute he is.
I believe that technically I did not buy my dinner with Brad. I believe he
No, it was a
confiscated.
dragon. It's a big, beautiful dragon.
Oh, interesting.
You mean you've met this guy before?
Yes, I created him. And Alan will attempt to exercise, like, control over Brad. Like, say, like, you know, like mentally command him to come here, basically.
He does. He flits over to you and kind of like hops around your shoulders or whatever.
Yes. This was one of the last things I expected, actually. Yes, I created Brad.
He
as
is
my
pretty
homunculus.
Unexpected. He's a unique little guy. You mean he's not
yes,
like
very.
he's not like from a factory?
No, I actually crafted him using my tools, and Alan will kind of reference his tool belt.
You're so
Fox
talented.
just like takes over handing out the food while they're talking.
Yeah.
Thank you, baby.
A couple of random passerby are like, "Thank you, goodness gracious."
You know, though, he is a part of my horde. He's.
Did you bring your horde?
That's none of your business. Somebody bought their dinner with him. This was payment. I think I own him now.
Well, I don't know how that exactly works because he was confiscated from me in a way that I would deem unjustifiable, as in I was just.
Well, I'm pretty sure it was very fair because you could have gone
trickery.
back and gotten him back. They said as soon as you leave, you can have him, but you never got him back.
That's a bit tongue in cheek for you to say, as you were the one who smuggled us out in secret.
You're right. It's like you don't owe me a thing.
All right. And then Alan will have Brad fly back over to Clara. I appreciate that point. Well,
She just smiles. She's like, it's all in good fun, baby. You know, we can co-parent. There's nothing wrong with that.
I know that he's being taken care of
The tall,
well.
7.5 foot tall barbarian addressing the 3 foot tall fairy dragon with her blue wings sticking out to the sides.
I love an odd couple. I do.
That,
So what have you been
Alan,
up to?
does this mean you owe child support?
I do not believe that is how
I
this
like
works.
the way he thinks. This
However, what I was going to say is it is great to see a friendly face, and I'm glad that you were able to escape before the armies reached your area. But I believe that
it was a tough call. A lot of good dragons stayed behind.
Yes, I am sure.
Yeah.
I had hoped to not see,
good to see you
these
too.
times and not to let them get to this point, but
Do you know what's happening? There has been no information from, I don't even know if there's like leadership here. You know, people told me there was a queen. It was something like saline, and it seems like saline solution, not a thing. There is no saline solution. I don't know what they're going to do to try and resolve these things. We're out of, you've probably heard, here you go, honey. We're out of food. This is food by Wingle Digit, which is not food. It's edible. That does not make it food. What I have always said this, Wingle Digits, ciphers are not chefs. You know, people are hungry. We got something to put in their bellies at the moment, and that's fantastic. The worst thing I can think of in the world is an empty belly, but this is the second worst thing I can think of. You know, is this food is abysmal.
I want something up the line.
I got kids to feed. You can't cut in line over here. And a little bit of like a fist shoving fight kind of breaks out a little ways back in the
Just
line.
a moment, baby.
Hey, break it up.
The crowd that's outside on the catwalk is starting to push against the front doors and kind of wend their way. It's like you're in danger of riot territory here as the crowds are sticking in.
Move along.
Holding the staff of charisma, Fox will call out among the crowd. Orderly, everyone will get their terrible food in time.
Terrible food is right.
Your swill can wait, baby. Clara is going to go over to whoever, if there's any specific instigator, she'll go over and like, do we need to, I think I may remember you from yesterday. Do we need to have the same kind of talk we had yesterday?
Let's see if you need to have that kind of talk. Fox, how'd you roll?
I rolled on advantage. I rolled a 9.
Wow. The crowd is just not digging it. Even with the rod of charisma and everything, the crowd is just not having it. They're pushing to the door.
We get one meal a day, and it's awful, and it's too small, and we got kids to feed, and we're waiting in line, and we're out here uphill both ways,
and it's just like they're kind of pushing in and getting a little rowdy. Some of the other soup kitchen like volunteers or whatever, you can see them beginning to like take cover behind the counter where they're serving food.
All right. I'm going to find the loudest one.
Okay.
The one who's riling them up for what they're complaining.
Sure. So you head towards the door. Clara's also interacting with someone who's in line inside. Clara, go ahead and roll intimidation. You were threatening them, I believe.
Can you give me a D20?
Yeah.
I was actually about to use my breath weapon.
Oh, that's fine too then. Just use your breath weapon.
Somebody doesn't remember what my breath weapon is. Clara leans right into this man's face. She's I'm going to go ahead and assume he is bigger than her. But she flies right up to his face and is like, all right, sweetie, you ready? Why is it that we dragons are so good at music?
I don't know.
Because we got scales. And she breathes right into his face as she tells this joke, and he just bursts into raucous laughter, and a few of the people nearby do as well, and this ripple of laughing goes through this little area. And the laughter being somewhat contagious, people have that like awkward nervous chuckle around them of like, are we supposed to be laughing right now? And this calms a little bit of this area of the crowd.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Fox addresses the mob outside. So they're basically in like this crunch at the door, and you are now in front of the crunch at the door.
Everybody calm down. We have a set amount of food. Everyone will get their terrible food. And you pushing and shoving is just going to get people crowd crushed. And Kale, do you want that on your conscience? Because you were too rowdy for the worst food I've ever seen in my life?
That's our slogan.
I'm gonna roll again.
Okay.
This time, a little better. Okay, yes.
Yeah.
Much better. 21.
21. The crowd does fall silent, or at least quieter, and then you kind of begin to pick up on like muttered whispers through there. You can't make out all of what they're saying, but you hear things that are something to the tune of, I think that's Fox. Wait, is it really Fox? Does he have the thing? Does he have the thing? Then you hear someone else go, I heard he was just 3 halflings wearing a trench coat, but he's not even wearing a trench coat. And like there's just all these rumors swirling about Fox in the crowd that's out there.
All right, anyway, do we hear the whispers too? I'm gonna roll for a hide check and just disappear. I'm going to bump into someone and shapeshift at the same time.
Okay.
Through the crowd, and then make my way back to the front door, dressed as somebody working for the soup kitchen.
Stealth check at advantage versus the mob's perception of 16.
I did not beat that.
Okay.
Wait. Let me double check, because I know I have an awesome hide. No. Okay. No. I got like a 12.
Okay. So you bump into someone and shapeshift and change your outfit, and now they're all like, oh, maybe it is a trench coat. Maybe he's just changing the way his trench coat looks. That's great. And the whispers are still like, nobody is moving. Everybody's just kind of watching you. And then you kind of hear the whispers begin morphing from Fox whispers to, does that mean they're is he from Four Guys? Does that mean they're here? Like, are they? And and it kind of like ripples out in that way. Meanwhile, what are Bruiser and Radford up to at the moment?
Like this. Bruiser's probably doing the cooldown on the last checks on the airship to make sure it's nice and parked and
Oh, great.
ready to be.
As you're checking, everybody roll 2d20. All of my core players here, roll 2d20 for me. We're going to add all the numbers you rolled up.
I got 23 total.
Okay.
17 total.
23 plus
20
17
total.
is 40. Plus, what was that, 20?
20.
Okay, so now we're at 60.
I had 17 and 3, so 20 total.
80. All right. 80 is how many minutes of wingle digit power you have to keep the ship on the ground. You know what I'm saying? Like, because the ship has to thrust her down because it is naturally buoyant. And you've burnt most of your wingle digits on the trip here. Now, luckily, Alan optimized your engines while you were out, so the engines are better than they could be. I have factored that in by giving each of you an extra d20 to roll, but you still have that long until your airship is unable to propel itself downwards or in any other direction. And that is your store of wingle digits on board the ship and that you took with you run out. So Bruiser, you would know this.
Yeah. Does the place we are docked at, does it have like anchor points for rope?
No, because it's for dragons. It's not really built for airships.
Is there anywhere to just tie off rope?
Does this thing have an anchor? It's an
I don't think
airship.
I don't know. We never really established if it has an anchor.
Hey, look! I found an anchor.
Roll something to see if there's an anchor on it. How about Wash rolls a d20 and Trevor rolls a d20? If Wash rolls higher than Trevor, then there's an anchor.
Roll bad.
I hope. Who do you want to hear first?
I got a 19.
Okay,
I
just
got
tell
a
us if
10.
there. Okay, so there's an anchor on the ship. So there's an anchor that'll stop it from it'll be like a balloon. It'll be just floating up there, plugging a hole in the ceiling. But
Maybe we
you
can
do have an anchor that
hook
you can
this
use.
onto something, or I don't know. Is there? You see anything down there that you can just like hook this onto, like one of those bridges?
Bruiser's gonna fly down and just try and find the best. Use investigation to find the best anchor point for it.
Okay, roll investigation.
And should they roll d20s to see if we find a rope ladder that can come down and it's the same length as the anchor rope?
Yes, I guess they'll need to.
First things first.
Actually, I think we
got a-
probably don't have one that is that long.
I
Go ahead.
got a 22.
Okay, a 22. You find something to anchor it to.
It's down here.
Okay.
I'd like to imagine it's like a giant, like multiple-headed fish hook.
It's probably just
Like-
anchored to one of the catwalks. You know what I
Like
mean?
a
Like, because they have the
grapple
big arches that support them, so you could just
Go ahead
anchor
and
around the
lower it.
thin
I'll
point
get
of
it
one of the
into
arches.
place.
Okay. Here you go.
Bruiser, roll a strength check at disadvantage to try and maneuver an anchor as a tiny character or a size category small character. And the check is exorbitantly high. It's probably a 25 to move an anchor.
I got a natural 20.
Bruiser does the thing. I don't know how you do it. Maybe
It's
you
not
back
how
up
big
and
it is. It's
fly
how
at
you
ramming
move it.
speed. Yeah, maybe you just fly into it at ramming speed, but whatever it is, Bruiser deftly hooks the anchor right where it needs to go over the arch, and the ship is so it's still right now thrusting down into the landing pad to let all the monks disembark. And your food supplies are basically being looted by the peasants who Owlin gave leave to just go in there and get some food. But other than that, everything is fine. And when it runs out of wingle digits, it'll just float up at the end of your anchor chain, basically.
Well, my argument for the rope ladder would be that it would make sense for the ship to have a ladder if it had an anchor. And that's how docking it worked. But I don't know.
Sure. Okay. It's
What
like
if
a
we
rope
just
ladder.
what if we just pull the anchor up while it's hooked on, and we pull the ship down? Will that work?
It's a head.
Is it that light? I guess it's lighter than air. Well, no, it has to still carry people. The idea
I
of
mean,
like
whether
we could
it's
just, like,
pulling on the
buoyant,
anchor,
it's not lighter than
up.
air.
if it's pulling on the anchor when it's up and it's pulling on the anchor when it's down, it doesn't mean it'd be pulling it
What Wash
harder.
is saying, it's like on a reel, and you're reeling it in,
winching
so
it
that
back
way
down.
it's like a shorter chain.
oh, there's a
So, like,
reel.
Yeah, so it's just like
Okay, so then that's how it
pull
works. Great.
Pull the ship down.
a
fine.
wench.
Cool.
Yeah.
A winch.
Sure.
And like
Winch,
Bruiser's
winch, not a
guiding
winch.
it.
What'd you call me?
Bruiser's off to the
great.
side, like lining
So
it
you
up.
winch your airship down.
Yeah.
So now because it's been winched down to the anchor, now it is blocking one of the walkways instead of a landing pad.
Oops,
Well, no,
sorry.
we don't have to winch it yet. We can have it float and then winch it when we need to get on.
You're not even there.
This is just Jake giving advice.
Oh, okay. You tell me, what's Bruiser gonna do?
What?
What's Bruiser gonna do as far as the winching situation? The situation.
He realizes, like, looks down around the area. It's like, this, I guess we can't winch it. Radford, take it back up. We need to clear this walkway.
But
Hey, I'm walking
just-
here. Move your boat.
I just winched this thing down. You want me to winch it back up?
Yes.
Okay.
I got my wife and kids. They're trying to walk, and your boat's in the way.
It's not a boat, it's an airship.
I don't care.
What he
Move
said.
it.
Okay. Tick, 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 tick. I don't know why
Okay,
it's
well, that's
making
gonna
the tick
take a
noise
while.
in
So
my
let's
voice.
jump back down to Clara and who is it? It's Clara, Owlin, and Fox are down there.
Yes.
Is that everyone who's down there right now? Okay.
Yes. Well, yeah, to answer your earlier question, Clara, yes, we are actually here to meet with the Queen, give her an update on what we've found, and then also meet up with the remaining avatars, which we have brought a few here, but
If you can get through to avatars, you say. If you can get through to her, that's going to be a miracle. You realize this whole city has been trying to talk to this woman. I'm not convinced she's real.
she is real. We have met with her.
Are you sure
previously.
she's well? You know, she
I
hasn't
guess
shown
I-
her face. She might be, maybe she's sick. Maybe she's fled the country. You know, if I had this many people yelling at me every day, maybe I would flee the country.
Yes, I doubt that she has fled. Although I guess, as you say that, I have no idea whether or not she is well or anything like that.
Well,
but,
you might want to sneak out of
Fox
here and start looking for her. But you got to be
Opens
careful,
the
honey.
door looking like an angry chef.
You know what?
We should
that
speed this along,
uniform
Alan.
looks familiar.
yes, I will go with this chef.
Oh, thank you. Inspiration.
The
Alan.
whispers are still following you,
Alan, you
Fox,
need to be
and
careful.
The looks you're getting are not all good.
There's been you know me. I'm all about that gossip, and I have been not hearing the best things about Four Guys. I think you got a bit of a reputation, and it's not everything that you want it to be. I would expect. Now, I don't believe everything I hear because I hear
I've heard they
everything.
have a bad reputation too. As I look behind me.
You look behind you, and people are not buying it at all. You know, they're just looking right back at you, like
You might need to set some things straight for the people here, but just be careful. You know, people will believe anything, and these crazies, they may come after you. I'm kidding, honey. You are wonderful. Here's your swill. So just be cautious as you move about the city. You may not have all friends around here.
someone
that is
back,
good
like
to
kind
know.
of hidden in the mob, you know, with the safety of anonymity, yells out, "We don't need your alcoholic riffraff," and throws some kind of garbage or whatever at Alan. It kind of like floats over the top of the crowd. We heard
yeah.
what you did in Tumbleweb.
That's a big one. They really think that you are like a raging alcoholic, but I've seen you in a bar and you did just fine for a not dragon.
I said that was one isolated instance where it was strategically
Oh, so it's
advantageous for me to be a
true.
distraction.
Oh, I get the good news.
But I appreciate the warning. Sadly, it is not the reputation is not new
Yeah.
to us. But we will keep that
Who
in
threw
mind.
that? I just toss it back at who in the general direction.
No, Alan will try. Alan will try to stop the hand of
Please
Fox
do not
before
throw
anything
things
gets tossed
at the
back.
refugees.
Fox forgetting that he's supposed to not be Fox anymore.
And then Alan will guide Fox out of the establishment, and we'll try to go further
Sure.
down in the.
Okay. So
Verticulator.
you make your way down the verticulators. What's up, Wash?
I just had a thought and was wondering if Fox was still wearing Jeb's hat and if people were confusing Fox with Jeb right now.
I don't know. It's up to Fox whether he's still wearing Jeb's hat, but they are not confusing him because they've heard him addressed by name.
That's fair. That's fair.
100% still wearing it.
Is it under or over the chef's hat that you had Fox put on?
Under.
It's under.
Okay.
So you see the
So
chef's
just the
hat, and then you
brim
see this
of
really
Jeb's
wide
hat?
brim. Yeah.
Nice.
They're doing it in Udril, I swear. Double hats.
It's all the rage.
Okay. So we can. Who wants to go next? We can keep following Alan and Fox down to the lower tiers, or we can jump back up to Bruiser and or Radford and see what they're up to.
We can go next.
Do you have stuff you want to do? That's the real question.
I think, I don't know. I don't know if Radford has anything to do. He would,
All right, Alan.
like,
I'm going to go let the others upstairs know what's going on. You know where to go.
Yes, I will see you all in the lower tiers.
I'm going up.
Okay. Fox goes up, Alan goes down. Fox, you arrive to see Bruiser standing under the airship, which is alarmingly close to the catwalk, very slowly, like winching its way up away from the catwalk. And he's got like people yelling at him, like, I'm trying to walk here.
Hey, let you move it fast.
is this far enough? Is this far enough? Do we have to go more?
You can walk, see?
Guys, go bump my
Okay.
head. I'm tall.
stopping.
You got it.
Duck. I'm done.
The four guys, they always be getting in the way.
This isn't even branded. Get out of here.
The anchor is branded.
Yeah, Fox slapped a sticker on it at some point. Just because he thought it would be nice.
4 guys, anchors, and vibes.
Hey, Bruiser,
Fox.
what's going on over here?
Oh, just securing the airship because we found an anchor, which we didn't consider about landing in places. We just were concerned with getting out of places.
Yeah, I mean that's fair. I mean that really rude guy. He just kept on saying he's walking here.
Yeah, I don't know. There's like 20 other catwalks around.
All right. Well,
Okay.
Listen.
That's all done. You might want to go turn those engines off now that we got this thing all hunkered down.
Yep, Bruiser will fly up to the room real quick, cut the engines, and then fly back down to Fox.
Sure.
Hey,
That
boss.
happens.
Listen.
It's
We should.
we're gonna be here for a little bit. We're gonna resupply on the takeoff.
Honestly, I think that's probably best. Evidently, we don't have the best reputation, so
What
try to
happened?
keep the fact that you're associated with the company on the down low. You know,
I could reconnect with some old contacts and
Reputation. There's a dwarf who's kind of walking past who hears you say that. Aren't you 4 guys, Ventures and Vibes? You're the ones who unearthed a traitor in Udra. What do you mean your reputation is bad?
well,
That was you, right?
Some
That was
people
you
don't
guys.
like us, and I see that's the stuff we try to do everywhere, and I'd say we have a good track record. But
there
there's
is
some people.
the
they see-
enemies are poisoning the people against us.
Hey, absolutely. I think it's just awful what they're saying about you in the mornings. I think it's just terrible. And he just keeps
Like-
walking on. Don't worry. I don't believe
please.
a word of it, though.
What did they say? Come.
What do they
What's in the
say?
mornings? Would
Well,
I be aware?
No, you would not be aware. Whatever this is new news.
Well,
But this person continues walking on their way.
But like,
when do we
All right.
want to leave, Fox?
Radford spent some time here. Would he be aware of like some morning criers or like some morning news thing?
No.
Okay.
As far as he knows, there is no such thing. Like they don't have they're like
Yeah.
Tumbleweb has the Tumbleweb Today. And they have the little auto gnome news, or the auto ferrets, but that's not something that's everywhere.
Sure.
And as far as you know, it's not in Geim.
All right, listen. We should probably stock up on what we can. Looking at the state of things here, probably shouldn't give away too much food because we probably won't be able to pick up any.
Keep your food,
And-
says a gnome as they walk by. We know your burrito's a store-bought.
What?
Now just wait 1 minute.
We know the truth. We saw the report. And he keeps walking.
What
Ooh.
report?
Well, what's the timetable like?
All right. I don't know. It's all
Bruiser
gonna come down to
valiantly
Alan.
trying to get you to commit to any kind of timetable for the past 10 minutes.
Well, I just need to know, like, when I need to be back here.
Okay. Somebody should be here at all times, and if you're not
Nah.
going to be here, you should be readily available.
Hey,
All right.
Fox, you just
Yes?
you were just down below, right?
I didn't go far down. I just went down a tier. Yes.
Like, what's the deal with the people?
Evidently, we have a varied reputation.
I'm not talking
and-
about us. I mean, I don't care if people hate us. I'm like, but what's going on with the city?
It's not good. From the looks of things, resources are getting scarce. Evidently, they started feeding people using magic, powered by wingle digits.
How?
I'm imagining probably some like bastardization of create food or something.
Bruiser, we can't leave. I get that, but I can't leave my people here. They're all elderly and children, and I'm not going to let them.
Where are we going
just
to take them?
Well, we can't take them with us, but I mean, if there's nothing, this was supposed to be where we dropped them off, so they could be
think this is
safe
the
while we look for Kay.
Safe and comfortable are two very different things.
Listen, I'm on Bruiser's side here in the sense that, like, while this place is under siege, we're the ones who are supposed to lift it. If we don't figure out something in quick to deal with, the whole... I look around at the people, like, walking around.
And a
trying
lot
not
of them
to-
who are like looking at you because you're 4 guys and you apparently have
Yeah.
a reputation. So it's not like you're anonymous here.
So, the whole thing in the... If we don't deal with the problem, it's not going to be dealt with, and nowhere's going to be safe. Right now, this is the one bastion that we can leave people, and they will be safe for a period. Nowhere else is a place we can say that, and we can't indefinitely carry people with us forever.
No, we can't. We need to fix this problem. We need to shore things up here.
Well, if you let me go talk to someone about resupplying, then I can come back and just watch the airship for the rest of the time.
Wait. Maybe. I mean, if we had Jeb was always good at these kind of puzzles, but I'm wondering if maybe if we can just do something to alleviate the pressure the outside army is creating.
I have an idea. We need to find FP.
We could check in with the company.
If we can figure out something with the magic beans, maybe we can make some sort of, like, accelerate their growth or something like that. He was tinkering on some things with the burritos.
Fox, having been down to the lower tier, you're not 100% sure, but you're pretty confident that you saw FP somewhere in the volunteer line, feeding people at the soup kitchen.
All right. I think I might have seen FP a tier down. Right now, there's like a whole like rationing going on down there. He might be volunteering down there. If you want to head down there, Bruiser, if you want to get in touch with some of your contacts, we're going to need wingle digits.
I thought those were
Some
provided by
ring-
the company.
Listen, I don't know what the company's going to have on hand, especially during a siege.
Do you want me to take a loan out on the company's behalf, or do you want me to acquire Winkle Digits?
I want you to figure it out, and I don't want to know the details.
Okay, how much do you need?
However much we're going to need to fly this thing indefinitely. As much as you can get without causing due stress upon the people here. All right? We're supposed to be saving these
affecting
people,
their food
not making it
supply.
harder for their... So,
That's going to be a difficult task to...
Have fun with that. And Radford like walks away.
go talk with figure it out with okay?
Okay. And then supplies.
I will keep an eye on the ship and make sure things stay secure here.
Do you know who I could talk to about supplies? Or do you want me to just ask some contact people?
I would go through first.
Okay.
Work it out from there.
Okay. You'll watch the ship
And
then?
I'll watch the ship. And Fox starts climbing up the rope.
I'm sure he loves that.
Anchor. Yeah.
Climbing off a catwalk.
Wait, here, give me a second. Yeah. Fox just takes a deep breath and just looks straight up at the ship and just climbs up. And doesn't
because
look
he's
down.
a high-level rogue, it's no problem for him. Great. So Fox climbs up to the ship to keep an eye on things. Radford and Bruiser are both off to go in and do something, but we're going to start by following Owlin, who hears ding, tier 1. As the verticulator doors slide open, and the gemstone hall down here, the city hall, is in much better spirits than the one upstairs. Just like all the other ones you've gone through, there's still like the soup kitchen lines, but as you have descended further and further in the city, the conditions in them have gotten better and more polite. The food is the same; it's the same kind of magic-y rations. Although the last, the first and second tier, you've seen maybe they're even getting like some salt on there, but just the people are composing themselves better. They're still kind of, it's like, oh, they're dirty fancy clothes. Like, we can't really get anywhere we can't afford to buy new clothes right now, but we're still dressing up and trying to look our best and like going about life, and so down here it's a little bit more laid back and gentle and calm. As you step off the verticulator, you are immediately recognized by one of the gemstone guardians who says, Owlin Wajir? Yes?
Yes.
Good. You're back. Great. Come with me. And he comes over and takes you by the arm and escorts you out. And he says, "I assume you're down here to meet with the Queen's guest. Yes."
Yes, I'm here to meet with hopefully the Queen as well. If she is in a state to do so, I know that she must be under immense stress right now. But I will speaking with her would be important.
I will send a courier. She is personally overseeing the securing of our gates into the Underdark. And as you're walking between the pillars that support the tiers above you, you can see what looked like, from above, a little anthill of military operations. You can now see that they have been reinforcing the large, basically drawbridge-sized doors to the Underdark. They've been just reinforcing them with titanium bars across the outside. And then underneath each, they've kind of installed a little portcullis that's just small enough for them to keep a lookout through, but should stop. So they're basically trying to turn them into non-entrances to Geim. So that's kind of what's happening off in the distance. You don't actually see Queen Salen, but you see a significantly larger portion of her gemstone guardians at one of those doors than the other. You can assume she is there. There's plenty of soldiers at both of them to secure them, but like her little honor guard seems to mostly be concentrated at one. But in the meantime, while you're waiting to get a meeting with her, while a courier runs over to try and get through the line of people with messages for the Queen, you are led into the palace, down to the lower floor of the palace, where there's kind of a secret safe room bunker type thing. And in that room, you are the door is open, you step inside, and Laredith looks up from, just sheaves of paper. She's surrounded by notes and papers and reports and things, as well as a bunch of half-constructed things that are just kind of laying around her, piles of nuts and bolts and wires. She looks up at you, adjusts her spectacles, and, it is so good to see you. I'm glad that you're back. You are safe then. You are alive. Is everyone back?
Alan does a little like, did anyone die? Kind of like thing. Well, yes, everyone survived, as far as we know. But both Gunnar and Jeb are bound to meet us here. They took the cypher truck.
So they are coming across land?
Yes, they are.
They must be warned. The city is besieged. It is not safe over land. I will send a courier. And she goes to the door, and you see that there's a little pull rope thing that's been installed. She pulls it and slides a couple wingle digits into a slot, and immediately someone knocks on the door. She lets them in, and it's a courier, and she says, "Tell Clan Lupus that there are two members of Four Guys Ventures and Vibes who are traveling in a cypher truck of this description who need to be escorted safely into the city of Geim." And the courier nods and runs off into the distance to go and tell them about that.
Is the king of Clan Lupus, is he here?
Oh, yes. Although he spent a long time, he was one of the last of the quote-unquote refugees from Udril to come here because he refused to leave until the other clans had all been evacuated, or at least given the chance. Several of them stayed back and are continuing to fight alongside several of the draconic residents of Fladena who were unwilling to leave their hordes behind to be plundered by the encroaching armies. And so there is a bit of a conflict happening up there that is more in the style of guerrilla warfare than a siege as we are undergoing here. But there are no, cities or towns up there. They are individuals.
I see. Well, that is good to hear, as we will likely request for him to accompany us, or at least, yes.
Yes, you need him because of his ability to accessorize.
Yes.
She straightens her glasses and gives you kind of a knowing smirk.
Yes, and as I'm sure you can assume by the fact that we are back and that we did return with the two avatars we set out to find. Thrax and How, however, we cannot be sure what happened to him because we had to escape. But the last we saw of him, he was battling the armies, including shadowy chaos energy dragons, and also we believe that they brought at least one aboleth with them for the assault in a giant metallic encasement, and it would have been
large enough to keep it in its own little ocean.
Yes, it would have been miraculous for him to have defeated that entire army. I believe that, I'm not sure which is worse. He could have been enslaved or he could have been killed.
Indeed.
But as of right now, aside from Kay, and obviously once Jeb and Gunnar return by land, which they are carrying Thraxenhau's frozen tear. So once they return...
What do we need with a frozen tear?
Well, it is one of the components.
The components. So you were successful. You rescued Dew as well? Is she also on the airship?
I could have sworn I thought we had spoken since then. I guess perhaps we have not. No, Dew did not survive the magic draining process.
Oh no.
We were not fast enough to save her. However, she had the foresight to hide and bury the instructions and most of the components, all but one, for the cataclysmic ritual.
I see.
We were able to find that. Her spirit actually guided us to it, and the component that we needed to get ourselves was the frozen dragon's tear, which we did. Jeb was able to get from Thraxenhau. So, what our current plan or objective is to wait here until the rest of our companions make it, and then resupply what we can. While that happens, I know that the entire city is short on rations and on
Not many
resources.
supplies to be had here.
I know, that is... I didn't even think to fear that until we landed. But resupply what we can afford to. Bring you on board, bring the King of Udril on board, and basically everything that we need for the cataclysmic ritual on this one airship, which is risky, but I believe necessary.
Is the airship big enough for that?
timeliness.
Is it big enough to relocate the rest of your staff?
Yes, I believe so. I mean, we carried.
I'm not sure what your exposure to the wider world of Geim has been, but as refugees from the rest of Urida have come piling in, the various rumors of your doings have all coalesced in one place. And so you are both well known and greatly varying in the respect that you receive here at this time. There are dwarves from Udril who swear by Four Guys Ventures and Vibes, and there are dirt folk from Red Hill who believe you are all crooks and feel validated when they hear of your crime spree in Tumbleweb. There are all manner of rumors, and it may be good to consider relocating your headquarters to the airship and just leaving the city altogether. I believe Salen's intent is to use you as auxiliaries or as mercenaries in the same way that any other guild would be used, contributing to defenses and other projects under the leadership of maybe one of her generals, or perhaps under the leadership of one of the Gemstone Guardians, but mostly being used for the tasks that are considered either beneath or too dangerous to trust to other members of her army. In other words, as fodder.
So, is that in contention or contrast to our plan to go about the cataclysmic ritual?
I am not certain that Salen has any intentions of allowing you to complete the cataclysmic ritual when her city is so besieged. I think she is fully focused on protecting the people here and is not perhaps open to reason in considering that the way to end this conflict would be to leave it. I have attempted to inform her and to sway her mind, but she is a very forceful leader, which in times that are not directly opposed to me, I have respected greatly.
Well, I did unknowingly or without the knowledge of what you just shared, I did ask a Gemstone Guardian to get in contact with the Queen for me so that I can have an audience with her. However, there is a part of me that now thinks that it may be best, if you believe it may be prudent, I've been hearing that word a lot, sorry.
You've been spending time with some monks.
Yes. There's a part of me that thinks it may be best to not meet with the Queen and ask for forgiveness later after we stop the apocalypse instead of permission.
It is hard to say. I do not know which matters of social importance are not my strong suit.
Mine neither, which is why I feel conflicted in this. But
perhaps Fox would be a good person to ask.
Perhaps. I believe I will. That is a good idea. He will. Well, I think he was going to. Alan doesn't know that Fox is just staying with the ship. Yes, he is going to meet me down here at some point. Well, either way, to I guess continue summarizing the plan just so that we are on the same page. The intent then would be to bring the rest of Four Guys onto the ship, set up a new headquarters on the ship, along with everything and everyone we need for the cataclysmic ritual, and begin investigating leads on Kay, so that once we find Kay, we can immediately transition into the cataclysmic ritual. And while we are on the quest of finding Kay, you would have time on the airship to construct the device necessary to bind the rods.
Ah, yes, the device necessary to bind the rods. Right. And you detect a little bit of uneasiness in her voice as she's talking about this device.
Are you still familiar with the device? Do you still have the knowledge of constructing it?
I am familiar with the device, and I believe I have the knowledge to construct it. However, I have had trouble creating it in a way that is mobile. And she gestures down towards the floor, and you look at the floor and realize that the floor is like 6 inches higher up than it was last time you were here, because you're standing on a prototype of this device that is like this whole room sized, and it's got weird edges and wires sticking out of it, and it looks very fragile and held together by electrical tape kind of a deal. She says, I am not sure about condensing it without further artifice work, which perhaps you can assist me with. But I don't think that this one can travel. And obviously we can't do it here, because wherever the spell needs to happen, it's not going to be at the base of a place of power. That's not how rituals like this work. It would be far too convenient. So where we need to go, I fear we may have to construct a version of this machine on site. And the best we can do is probably to bring as many tools and materials as Randy has access to with us.
That is a good idea. One suggestion I may have, as a shoulder angel of Jeb whispers into Alan's ear, is perhaps this machine, is there a way that what you've constructed so far, it can be simply broken down into pieces and reconstructed later? Just so that you don't have to scrap all of the work so far?
It could be worth a try. It may not travel very well. As she leans to one side and something goes thunk, and steam shoots out one side of it. And she goes, one moment. She sits down and screws a valve back on top of it.
I just think in the time before we need to leave, if there's any way to salvage any pieces of this to make the construction faster when it comes time, I think that may be important or maybe helpful. Unless you believe that it's not worth the effort, I will trust your judgment on it.
I'm open to it. Let's give it a try. And the way mechanically we'll handle that is we'll have some artificer tools checks rolled to see how much of the machine you can salvage.
Okay.
We'll just handle that whenever you leave. That can even be offline between sessions.
Cool.
As this conversation is happening, we cut upstairs to Bruiser, who has walked off with the mission of find the stuff we need, whatever it takes.
His specialty.
Yeah, he's gotta
He knows the guy.
get to his contacts, find the seedy underworld of a place full of refugees. On the bright side, if he knows somebody everywhere, then right now he knows a lot of people, because there's refugees from all over who are here.
First, he's going straight to yeah.
Okay, so he goes to the Myconid, and the headquarters, if you'll recall, was moved into like the residential walls of the Cavern of Geim. So you kind of walk along the catwalks. You're small enough that you don't have to like weave around people, but it's still pretty cramped as far as like just people who have set up tents wherever they can or bedrolls on the ground. The garbage and whatever, the smell kind of fills your nostrils. You make it to the edge of the city. And the sounds of Geim, in terms of the babies crying and the hushed footsteps and whispers and things, those kind of are dulled as you step into one of the staircases that's behind the wall of rock. Okay. And so you're basically walking up into the gigantic apartment building that is the walls of this cavern, until you come to the right address and you knock a certain code on the door, whatever the code happens to be, and the door is opened for you. And standing there in front of you is Joffrey, who you've not met before. So you and Joffrey look at each other very briefly, and Joffrey says, "What is your business here?"
I was sent by Fox to talk to you.
Did he give you any sort of code phrase or means of identifying yourself?
I thought the secret knock was it.
Fair enough. And he steps back and lets you in, and you walk past him. It is a small for an office, but large for an apartment building. So It's pretty expansive. It's open concept. So instead of having offices like they did on Malarkey Circle, now it's more like this corner of the thing is where Randy works. And
We
so
got cubicles now.
Yeah, exactly. The lines of their offices is just where the junk from each of their job ends. The pile of papers that surround Marcy and her sales, her PR reports and stuff kind of overlap briefly with the pile of nuts and bolts and the detritus of building that is Randy's R&D and all this sort of thing. And standing at the window with his teeny little arms clasped behind his back, staring out over the city of Geim with his favorite chew bolt sticking out of his little mushroom mouth is the Myconid, just looking down upon the city and all that's happening there. He turns around and a little spore floats up towards you and he says, "Hello, Bruiser."
Hey, how's it going here? It doesn't look great.
It would be a falsehood to say that things are well, but we are okay. I believe our tenure in this city may be coming to a close.
That is unfortunate.
It does look like you have a fairly large airship, which should be convenient.
We definitely have an airship now, which is pretty cool. Speaking of that, I need to know what we have left in our coffers.
Our coffers. And another spore floats down the hallway, and you see Joffrey begin making his way towards you. He says, "Yes, I have the ledger books here." And he pulls out his ledgers and kind of flips open, and he's looking through the sheets. He says, "Yes, so I see here when Owlin and Fox left, they withdrew this much from the company coffers for their various voyages. And then we have had various operating expenses, the additional levies, the taxes levied upon us by the defense here in Geim, and that leaves you with 44 wingle digits.
44?
44 wingle digits.
Out of game, Josh, how much does it cost to power the airship again?
A lot more than 44 wingle digits. I believe
that.
somewhere in the neighborhood of 1,000 wingle digits a day, something like that, or a couple hundred.
Josh, you lied to us a couple sessions ago. Well, I guess you didn't technically lie.
What did I say? That was
Well,
a
you
lie.
said something along the lines of, well, then once you get to Geim, you'll be able to use your coffers to fly the rest of the way.
But that was the plan.
All right.
All right. Or maybe you're asking the right questions. I don't know.
Do we have any assets we could potentially liquidate?
Assets we could liquidate, yes. And he begins flipping through, and he says, taken for the defense, used, burnt, consumable, used for the defense. We could sell Randy's desk. And you hear a voice from the side of the room go, "No, you cannot!" He says,
Because the airship costs in the ballpark of 1,000 wingle digits a day to steer and down, go down, I guess, because it floats naturally. So
Interesting. Yes, that is a lot of wingle digits that it would cost to operate.
And we wouldn't necessarily need 1,000 a day once we get it going in the right direction, but to control going downward or, steering will be left up to the winds if
This
we
does
don't
seem to
have
pose
the
a
engines
challenge.
up.
I'm
Yes.
not sure that we have the funds to do this operation. Yes.
Well, I can always drum up some business.
What do you mean by that?
The less you know, the better.
Oh, that kind of business. And he shuffles off back towards his corner of the room. Like there's no office door for him to close, but he just shuffles back over to his corner of the room, puts his little ledger book away and kind of sits down. And that's what now he's just over there looking sad. I realize we're out of money. How depressing. And that's what he's doing. Looks at you and says, "We appear to be in dire financial straits also."
I have, quite a bit that I could definitely donate to the cause, but it's not nearly enough.
How would you get to it in a city under siege? Surely the queen has taken charge of all the tangible assets in the city, which would include wingle digits towards the defense or towards feeding and rationing food.
I have to go talk to some old contacts to see what resources are available. Fox has tasked me with drumming up wingle digits without hurting the people of the city, and
I see.
I don't think those goals go hand in hand or align very well together.
This does seem to pose a challenge for you. I hope that you are up to the task. Do you feel confident you can complete this challenge?
Do I feel confident? No. Will I try confidently? Yes.
I see. Good luck. Will we be able to relocate out on the airship?
Yes. Fox is currently manning the airship if you want to head there and start loading stuff onto it.
We will begin making arrangements to transport our things to the airship.
Yeah, I think he wants to leave as soon as possible, but there's no definitive timeline, so just the sooner everything is ready, the better.
That makes sense.
And then Bruiser will begin his reconnection with his old contacts from around.
Roll an investigation check at advantage. We're just going to see how high quality of a contact you can get to and how far back you go.
22.
22. All right. So you find someone who you've known for ages. It's actually someone from Aspesh, which is a nation with a great underworld. The primarily humanoid nation of Aspesh has just a very active crime world in there because there's a lot of corruption in their leadership. And so you know a number of people from there. But as you're kind of wandering the city, the challenge is not do you know people? The challenge is where are the people in a city this packed? You know what I mean? Yeah. And luckily, you remember this guy because he's got a couple habits, right? And so you can like, oh, well, I know that he's going to be near somewhere where he can get liquor. There's no liquor right now. The city's emptied out. I know he loves to gamble. I'm going to look for some of the gambling tables or, you know, maybe a 3-card Monty kind of stand or something like that. And so you reconnect with this contact of yours. His name is Clark Jackson, but he goes by the name One Shot when you interact with him in front of, you know, his lessers, as it were. And you can tell it's him because when you find the 3-card Monty, right? The little stand where he's kind of hustling people. And you're watching for a little bit to make sure it's him. And you know for sure when you see him turn over a card and he's got a tattoo on the inside of each wrist of Snake Eyes dice. And so you know it's him. He's not noticed you. He's busy, you know, hey, step right up, follow the lady, make 100 wingle digits right now. And he's just doing his thing.
Can Bruiser walk up and pretend like he's playing, but talk?
Oh, yeah, like hustle him back, basically?
Yeah.
Roll sleight of hand at advantage because you know this is his game.
And I know the trick. 24. 24.
With a 24, you successfully follow the lady by basically bringing your own card to the table, right? Because the hustle is that he's taking the lady off the table. You bring your own queen to the table. And so when you pick a card, you sleight of hand, swap your card in for it. And you're like, look, I found her. And he goes, that's amazing that you... And he looks up and sees you. And he stops for a second and he goes, game's over, everybody. I got to catch up with an old friend. And he says, how you been? Bruiser.
Oh.
And he reaches out and kind of shakes a paw, you know?
Yeah. It's been quite the adventure. I have a lot of stories and not enough time to tell them.
Who you running with now? You got a new crew?
Not my crew. I joined a crew.
Oh, you're hired help.
Yeah.
And what brings hired help to my doorstep? Well, and he looks around at the catwalk that he's playing 3-card Monty on, my cardboard box where I play 3-card Monty.
Is this street packed or are we talking more in private?
No, it's more in private. It's just really dirty. So it's like people are, you know, there's not too many people here except like seedy looking people. And a number of them you notice are people who have the same tattoos, the Snake Eyes tattoos, who are there kind of maybe acting as lookouts.
Are they all cool?
Yeah, these guys are fine.
Okay. I need a lot of money as quickly as possible, and that does the least amount of harm to the people.
Oh, trying to be a good guy now, are we? It's expensive to be a good guy.
It is.
Interesting. So we're probably talking about a loan here, right? Because to do this without harming the good folk of Geim, I'm gonna have to dip into my personal coffers to get you some resources here. And of course, I can't keep those in a bank. So there's a manner of stealth to be talked about in terms of transporting the funds and the goods here.
Of course.
Yes, fascinating. Where will the funds be taken to? How will we need to transport them?
You saw the airship come in, right?
Oh, yes. Oh, you came with that airship.
Yes. I piloted that airship.
Interesting. You piloted that airship. You're the driver.
Yes.
That makes sense for you. You've always had a knack for piloting craft.
It's like a cypher track, but
did my eyes mistake me, or did I see a logo on that anchor that said 4 Guys Ventures and Vibes?
You did.
Interesting. Well, I think we can come to a business arrangement. I think I can offer you this loan at a 0% interest rate. In fact, you don't need to pay me back in money at all. There's someone with a great debt to me who runs with that crew, and I would be willing to trade you all of the Wingle digits that you need in exchange for that single individual. What do you say?
What individual is that?
It would be one Jebediah Peppermint.
Oh, man.
Yeah, he had a bit of a spree back in the day, a bit of a gambling run, and he never really did pay his debts.
How much does he owe?
Oh, he owes a lot of money.
He did not come in with us. I don't know when we're expecting him.
But you are expecting him.
Yes. How much would the loan be for?
I would be willing to loan you. I'd be willing to loan you an even 100,000 Wingle digits. Obviously, we wouldn't share with the city what we have going on here. But yes, there is just around 100,000 Wingle digits spirited away in little hidey holes about the city, if you will.
I understand that he owes you a debt, but it is vital to the continuation of survival of everyone on this planet, essentially.
Well, here's the thing, is he's not one of the good citizens of Geim. So we can get you this money in a way that harms the good citizens of Geim, but you told me we wanted to avoid that.
We do.
Okay, well, that means that we're going to need to get this money in a way that doesn't harm the citizens of Geim. I think I found a reasonable price. I mean, if you look at the pure mathematics of the thing, and he sweeps his hand out towards the city, and that's you're back out on one of the catwalks, so you can hear the crying babies and the tense footsteps and the whispers. You can see a guard somewhere yelling, "You there! Don't stop, thief!" And that kind of thing going on. And he says, I think when you compare to all these lives, surely you don't need him, in one piece.
How many pieces do you plan on leaving him in?
100,000. It's an even payment for the debt.
Is this an open offer? Do I have time to discuss?
Offer expires when you walk off this catwalk. And we'll be collecting the debt half either way.
You drive a very, very hard bargain.
I like to think of myself as a competent business person. You came with a pretty significant request.
I am aware that I did. Is there a middle ground between your offer and harming the people of Geim?
Where we just harm some of the people of Geim?
Yeah, I suppose.
I mean, I could In exchange for just his hand, I could procure the blueprints for a certain royal vault, and you could take your chances procuring that many wingle digits on your own. With the assistance of, I assure you, very high quality blueprints.
What about a hand for 50,000?
A hand for 50,000 wingle digits.
Yes.
I'll take that deal. But we can't shake on it until I'm shaking the right hand.
Yeah. Sounds like a deal.
All right. Well, then let's just establish a little collateral, shall we? And
What do
you
you
see that 3 of the guys have stepped up behind you. 3 of his escorts have stepped up behind you. And they kind of like loot through your stuff, kind of pull your bag off your back or whatever, and they're going through your stuff. What is something that would be pretty valuable that's in Bruiser's inventory that they can take? Maybe even something that's not like real significance, it's just sentimental to him.
He wears a gold chain.
That's true. I'm looking through his inventory right now. The amount of money he has is not insignificant.
Okay, so maybe they just take all his money and they're like, hey, we'll give this back with your loan when
They
you
could
deliver the
also
goods.
take his thieves' tools or playing card set.
And I'll keep the cards, for the 3-card Monty. I can't have you hustling me like that in front of the random people, the good citizens of Geim you're working so hard to protect. And he takes the cards and he takes all of your wingle digits that you're carrying on your person.
That's
and that's his
255 for reference.
Okay. So he takes that as collateral. Keep the note somewhere for yourself for when you get it back. But that's what he takes as collateral for you to deliver Jeb's hand. And he sits back down, and as you're walking away, you can hear him calling out again to the people of Geim, step right up, follow the lady, make 255 wingle digits. And that's kind of what you hear as you walk away. We cut to Radford. Radford, you walked away to try and figure something out, I believe, for the monks. Is that right?
Yes. Trying to figure out a food thing. And so
that's right. And you were looking for FP on the 9th tier. So you hear ding, 9th tier, and the verticulator doors open. And looking across the room, you don't see FP62 immediately, but you do see a blue fairy dragon who is tending to the line, who seems like she's in charge. Everybody else is asking her, what to do or where to go. She seems to be delegating. So you're pretty sure if someone was going to know where other caterers were or whatever, it would be this dragon. I can't remember if you've met Clara.
I don't think he has. Yeah.
Okay.
Nope.
Great.
Well, hello there, ma'am.
Oh, hello. It's nice to see somebody with manners. Are you here for your swill? You're going to have to get to the back of the line, baby.
Oh, I make my own swill. Thank you very much.
A swill maker. Well, I bet your swill is swell.
I've got a pretty swell swill, if I don't mind saying so myself.
You got some to share, honey? I need to take the edge off.
How about we make a trade for some information?
Oh, I love you. Oh my goodness. My tavern back in Fladena. This is just my part-time gig, This is my part-time gig at the moment. I'm on vacation.
A business owner and an altruist.
Right. Here you go, baby. Here you go. Here's your swill. Enjoy your TV dinner. I'm a tavern owner.
This is gray and lumpy. What is this?
Oh my gosh. So my slogan is ciphers are not chefs. Ciphers are not chefs.
They are not indeed.
No, we ran out of food weeks ago. There is no food. There's a rumor that the rich people have food, but that everybody's going to say that. So I don't even know if that's true. But I hear all the rumors. You need words? I'm your girl. Here you go, baby. She's shuffling people through the line ahead of you. There was a bit of a hold up earlier. tempers are high when everybody's hungry, and unfortunately this fills bellies, but it sure doesn't lift any spirits, right? So we got to try to keep spirits high. So smile to the people. Hello, baby. You're looking great today. Those are your best rags. You look like a queen. What are you here for? What do you need?
Is there any end of the line in sight? Like is this mid-meal rush or coming towards the end of it?
No, there is no end in sight. It seems like people are getting one meal per day, and the line is just infinite length.
Gotcha. Okay.
Every now and then, some of the soup kitchen staff who are closer to the door turn away people who are trying to get a second meal that day or whatever.
You start to recognize the faces, but yep. You'll see
Radford
as
takes
like
his
younger
gourd.
folks come through the line. Clara will like make a joke, or she'll breathe on if there's little kids who are crying or anything. She'll like make a little joke and breathe a little bit of euphoria and try to lift some moods. But sometimes somebody will walk up to her and the face is a mirror of her own, and she's like, "Do you wish you were dead? I wish I was dead. This is the worst day of my life. It's all right. Tomorrow's gonna get better, baby. Move along." I'd throw myself off of the tower, except I got these wings. It wouldn't work out. She's turned back to Radford now.
Radford takes the gourd off of his back and pours a little, like grabs 2 tumblers with his claws and pours a little into each of them and says, "If you have somebody who could take your spot for a minute, I'd love to sit and chat."
Yeah. FP, can you come over here, baby? She'll call FP, who is across the room, mopping up something that has been spilled.
Yeah, that's you, Wash.
Oh, certainly, Clara. I will mop the floor some other time when people stop barfing up this apparently very delicious material.
Don't worry, baby. It looks the same coming out. They can't even tell. We'll slap it right back on a plate.
No, that is... Don't do that. Don't do that.
I'm kidding. Can you not see how funny I am? It's kind of my thing.
Let's sit down.
Oh my goodness.
Radford's gonna pull a couple chairs to like the single table with the 2 chairs pushed against the side of a place. You know, it's not one of the booths or a fancy or something or whatever. This is
the first time my wings have stopped beating for like hours. This is nice.
How long have you been here doing this?
It's been days. This is pretty much what every day looks like lately. I'm not sure how long it's been, but it depends on, a lot of my folks stuck around in Flodana. You ever tried to pull, I'm sure you understand on some level, you ever tried to pull a dragon away from its hoard? It's not a pretty thing. Mm-hmm. So some of us came sooner rather than later. But there was food for a while, and I brought food, of course, and I brought spices, and it's all run out. And I just, I was telling folks earlier, it's the worst thing I can imagine is empty bellies. But second worst is I cannot stand giving people this to eat. It's edible, but that does not make it food. But this is what we're doing. This is all we got. So we got to slap a smile on, and we got to do what's got to be done.
Maybe this will slap a smile on you, and he pushes that tumbler across the table towards her.
Please, man. The last time somebody poured me a drink, I don't even remember.
It's like a really strong whiskey.
Do you want me to roll anything, Josh?
No, that's okay. You can handle your drinks.
Yay! It's not like real life.
I have a bit of a predicament, and I feel like I'm talking to the right person.
I'm happy to be talking to you.
Are you familiar with the rumors that have been going around about the 4 guys?
I don't know if I got the words out earlier when you first walked in, but my tavern back in Flodana, I miss it. It's called the Rumor Mill. Rumors is kind of my thing, baby. Rumors is what I do. I don't know which ones are true. I like the ones that are funny.
I'm currently employing them. They've decided to join me on a fantastical quest to save the world, and We just got into town with the
The four guys? Okay.
They've been very reliable, and I highly recommend them. They do good work.
What kind of work?
Mostly the destroying evil things and preserving good things. But I'm in a bit of a pickle. We narrowly escaped my home, and we lost a lot of people, but we were able to save the younglings and the infirm, and we need a place to keep them. And our hope was here, but it looks like
It's a
you
little
guys
bit
have a bit
full,
of a
huh?
food crisis.
Yeah, I try not to think about. Sometimes in life you got to go one day at a time. You got to fly one day at a time. And we have enough for today. And I don't know about tomorrow. I don't think about tomorrow. But we have enough for today. We had enough for yesterday. We had enough for the day before. And nobody has gone hungry yet. I don't know how much more we can handle, but maybe we can do one more day. We just got to keep flying forward. But how many people are you bringing here, baby?
A lot, a couple hundred. It is a
You're
couple
bringing
hundred,
like 40 people. No,
40?
you made it out with like 40 people. Your airship only sleeps 25.
He thinks back to the couple hundred that were there, and then he's like, about 40, but they're mostly small mouths. But I was actually going to ask you where my buddy FP was, and I didn't realize he was just like right there.
He's the shiny one, yeah. Yeah, the hat rack.
Him and I used to sling burritos around here back in the day.
He tried to get me into the burrito business. Do you guys have any?
Was he persuasive?
No. He's not. He seemed passionate. I will give him that. He cared a lot about his burrito. He's like in hearing distance.
He's got a very adolescent charm to him, doesn't he?
He really just. The first day he made me so upset I could have mopped the floor with him. But I'm warming up to him every day. He very much he
does
will
his
stand
best.
in that line and he will hand out food all day and he will never complain. And then there's a lot of complainers here. And sometimes, I complain too, but we're making jokes. We're trying to keep it light. But he's got a golden heart, that one. Yeah, you were saying, honey?
Well, we used the whole operation. We used to grow those beans, and they were magical and
say.
pretty flavorful. And I was just curious if there was any sort of future. Like, did he ever talk to you about if he'd stashed any of them anywhere? Or
he's very task oriented. This one, you give him something to do, and that is his full focus. He's not. We've not done a lot of the chit chat.
Hey, FP.
I'm very
come here for a
interested.
second. DM, can I ask FP if they're like what the situation on the magic bean burritos is?
You can. The magic bean burritos have been the beans were being grown in one of the caves that is like in the mountain somewhere,
Right.
like not in Geim, but like you leave and go somewhere and there's a little cave. And he's been like unable to go and tend them with all the work that needs to be done in the city. So there's probably like 4 or 5 of them, but it's not like they're being tended or harvested or whatever. There's just whatever was left after the last harvest is probably still there. But you are going to need to role play him explaining all of that to Radford, the little
No worries.
conversation there. I want to see them interact.
Oh, great. Hello, Radford. I do not have time to play chess. I am very busy putting slop into bowls, as Clara says. Oh, hey, no, I was wondering about the beans. I noticed that you're serving this stuff instead of growing the beans. Yes, they are in the caves as we normally go and harvest them, but they are in a dangerous area, being as they are close to the surface. The defensive positions have told us to pull back, and I figured my abilities would be used better elsewhere. that is the situation. Well, do you think they've like overgrown or anything since you haven't been doing anything with them? Maybe we could just like get them, grow them down here.
You got that one really big, strong guy. He could probably go get them all by himself. The blonde one, Owlin.
The pasta sauce
Yeah.
one.
Owlin?
You call him the bean boss. Yeah, he could go do it.
Alan Shoulder Angel shows up. You've never called me Bean Boss.
You hush, it sounds good. It's good marketing. DM. Since I'm continually
DM, yeah.
asking FP for information and then giving it to myself.
That's enough. We can now just resolve the conversation. I'll just give you the info.
Yeah, so with FP's knowledge of the bean operation and tending them and the amount of time and like factoring all of that stuff in, and factoring in Radford's idea of there are probably druids and clerics and people who are magical in nature who might be able to accelerate the growth of some magical plants. Should there be magic in the area, what are the odds that this could become a reliable food supply to the people?
They do not self-propagate, so it probably has not multiplied in your absence. There's probably just whatever was left over after the last harvest. So, maybe a D6 worth of beans that weren't quite ripe yet or something like that. Because everything else would have been harvested at that time. So those ones have probably ripened. They're probably not overgrown or ruined. In a cave, it's not like there's a lot of weeds that can live there. But at the same time, there's probably no extras. It is not likely that you could you probably couldn't multiply them at the scale you need in the time you have for them to be worth it for the city of Geim. However, there's probably just enough that if you had a very capable chef, someone who knew a lot about cooking and turning a little into a lot, you could grow them into enough to feed, say, up to 25 people on an airship. If only you knew someone like that.
For how long, though?
Well, indefinitely if you were able to keep harvesting them.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like that's
Yeah.
So if FP is there to tend them and Clara is there to cook them, then that could solve your food problems for a while.
Yeah.
Because the other stuff like carbs are cheap, so like flour and whatever to make the tortillas and that that kind of stuff would be easy.
I mean, that makes sense, but in Radford's mind, he's kind of just sad because it's like that would fix that problem, but it wouldn't fix the problem for his people.
True.
And the alternative would be to leave FP here and conscript Clara to just provide food for just his people. And like that's logistically not going to work out.
Right.
That would mean like even crime wise, that would just get overthrown really quickly because of the demand for sustenance.
Yeah. And like everybody, at least on this tier, knows Clara because she runs the soup kitchen.
Yeah. Yeah.
While Radford's looking for another solution for that problem, we're going to cut to Jeb and Gunner and Bruiser. Jeb and Gunner, you are being led into the city of Geim through a sort of like a hidden way. It brings you out in one of the middle tiers, maybe the 5th tier or the 6th tier. And as you enter the catwalk, you see Bruiser he looks like he's got a lot on his mind. He's kind of wandering, like he's supposed to be looking for someone or something, or maybe looking for a contact or whatever, but he's just like wandering at this point. And so you kind of notice him, a little bit away from you, kind of with some crowd between. But you two notice him before he sees you. The king has led you in there, and he says, obviously things in Geim are not ideal. Do you feel confident at this point that you can find your companions on your own?
Yeah. I get the feeling from what I heard earlier that they might want to talk to you too, from what it sounds like about you. I'm connecting some dots in my head about people they've talked about and who you are.
Yeah, that's true.
But
I'm due to report to the soldiers on the first tier about what I found while I was out scouting. I will make sure to check in with your leader while I'm down there. And
Perfect.
he leaves to go his way. The wolves did not accompany him. You're not sure where they went. You don't remember them peeling off while they were in the path. They've just kind of disappeared. But he is now just like a king walking on his own, and just on like just sheer force of personality, there's almost like a bubble of respect around him as he walks. But he heads
I'm
over
one
to
of
the
the leaders.
gemstone hall,
I mean-
takes the reticulator down.
You could have talked to me. I mean, I'm one of the leaders too. I was like, you know,
I mean, yeah. Why didn't you say something?
I mean, I don't know. I didn't think of it at the time.
I
Didn't
didn't either. Sorry.
Yeah. No, it's fine.
I just think of you like a buddy, not as much as a leader. Sorry about that.
I think of you as a buddy too. You know, I
Thanks.
like explosion buddies. I
Yeah.
appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
boom buddies. That's what we
Yeah.
are from now on.
Boom buddies.
It's like
Boomers.
it's like the band camp effect. Like you were stuck on this long trip with just the two of you for so long that now you come back and it's like your lives are changed and you're going to be forever friends. And like,
but it's all off screen and no one else in the party like understands
Yeah.
it. Like it's just. Well, let's talk to Bruce over here. He looks. I haven't. I mean.
Oh,
I
yeah.
haven't really seen him like that. Bruiser.
Oh, Gunner?
Yeah. Me and Jib.
Oh, just the mole folk I wanted to see.
Not me.
okay.
I'm not the imitation you wanted to see.
You
Come
are,
on.
Gunner.
But you
And
didn't
Bruiser will
say.
like. Yeah, I'm sorry. You're the habitation I also wanted to see.
Thank you. That means a lot.
So, what's going on? The smell in here is not good. Is there, like, I see the ship over there in the distance.
yeah, way
Yeah.
up above.
Yeah. As,
Turns out it has an anchor one.
oh, that's nice.
Yeah, we didn't consider.
His name's Fox.
We did not consider landing as part of our building detail or construction detail in the mountain. We were just concerned with getting off of the mountain. But we found. Turns out it has an anchor, so that's a plus.
Nice. Yeah.
The state
So-
of Geim is not very good.
So we're getting Laredith and we're getting out. I'm pretty sure. Where's Alan? Is he?
Alan went to go see the Queen.
Okay.
Fox is currently watching the airship.
Okay. Cool. I can get my hat back.
Yeah, and Four Guys is relocating. I think they're gonna start relocating onto the airship.
Oh, nice. Okay. We can get
just
Randy to work
'cause-
on some cool stuff.
Yeah, and also just like our reputation is very mixed here. So some people love us, some people hate us, some people don't know what to think. They're
Yeah.
rumors.
Tale as old as time. Am I right?
Have they heard about
But it's-
some of the explosions? Because I think that would raise the bar.
I would agree.
Yeah, on our
Yeah.
reputation.
I'm sure some of them have.
So they got you out here running supplies or something, or what you out here?
Yeah, about that. We need Wingle Digits to power the airship.
Ah, don't we all? Story of my life. That cipher truck's a drain.
Yes, and I have bargained our way to a hefty supply of Wingle Digits that'll keep us in the air more or less indefinitely for our purposes.
That's a lot.
Yes. And it does not harm the city or the people.
I'm glad you thought about that.
Yeah,
that
that's
would have been lower on the list for me.
Yeah, that was Fox's idea, surprisingly.
Oh, that's not surprisingly. He's a much better person than me.
Here's the unfortunate part of this deal.
What's that?
Apparently, some old gambling buddies of yours have remembered your debt and wish to collect on it in exchange for the Wingle Digits we need.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
What was the tattoo on the wrist, Josh?
Snake eyes.
Snake eyes. The group with the snake eyes tattoos on their wrist.
Gunner, just being a crook and knowing anything about the underworld, you also have heard of the Deadeyes. They are one of the most notorious gambling and casino rings in all of Urda.
Gunner's like, I mean, from what I know of this guy, he would not be stupid enough to deal with the Deadeyes. Not even come close to him. I mean, right? Right, Jeb?
Okay, look, I was on my own. I was... They roped me into it, and it was like a work your debt off thing, but kept piling it on top of it, and it was...
The good
it was...
news is it is an interest-free one-time payment.
Jeb takes a step back.
Yeah, Jeb, you are familiar with what they mean when they say interest-free payment. This is not like a new ruse, you know.
No.
Bruiser, what did you do?
I successfully negotiated Jeb's life.
What does that mean in this context? That could mean that you successfully negotiated it away. That's not
I'm
good.
rather fond of my eyes.
No eyes.
Jeb takes another step back.
Jeb bumps into someone as he takes a step back.
Is that anybody that I
No.
recognize?
It's not someone you recognize, but it is a Deadeye. Hey, buddy.
There is a poof of pink smoke, and Jeb magic tunnels his way 500 feet into the air, directly up.
Okay. 500 feet, if you're on the 5th tier or even the 6th tier, that gets you up to the 10th tier. So Jeb, poof, disappears. You reappear on the 10th tier. You're near one of the walls. Let's just say for the sake of convenience, it's the wall nearest the airship. So you appear up on that tier near the airship. You can see Fox leaning over the side, looking around from the airship. Fox, you are concerned that a bunch of people who claim to have been negotiated with by Bruiser have arrived at your airship bearing cases full of money. And you feel like there's something familiar about them, but you can't place the tattoo on their wrists. But they've shown, and they look like enforcers or thugs or something like that. But as you're leaning over looking for Bruiser, you see instead Jeb appear in a poof of pink smoke.
I don't know what any of this is about. No, I'm not going to bring... Jeb?
How many of them are lined up, DM?
You can't see because they're on the airship, which is above you.
Oh, okay.
Fox, there are 5 of them on the airship with you. They're holding the cases of Wingle digits. Like they're trying to
They're
drop
up
off
here
their
with
hand.
me.
Yeah, they
Sorry.
they flew to you using ciphers of fly, and they're trying to drop off the money. They're trying to smuggle it to you without it getting confiscated by the city. So they're like trying to do their part of the bargain. They don't necessarily know that Jeb is down there or anything. I mean, I guess you just
All
yelled to
right,
him.
all
but
right.
they're-
Just set it down. Get out of here. I'll inspect it.
We
later.
were instructed to wait to make sure that the interest was collected on the loan before we left.
Loan? All right, listen. I don't know who you were talking with.
We were talking
but-
with Bruiser.
Okay. I don't know what you negotiated with him about.
We
but
negotiated
I
a
can't-
loan.
I can't have you just sitting on this ship, all right? No
We won't go
offense.
below decks. We're not trying to start anything. We just need to make sure we connect. We just need to make sure we collect the payment, the repayment.
Fine, you can take yourselves and whatever's in that crate off the ship until I confirm whatever this is.
I'm afraid we can't do that. If we take this money down to the catwalks, it's going to be confiscated. If not by the city guards, then by the peasants.
Is it obvious it's money? DM, is it obvious it's
yes,
money?
they're like casino crates. It's a gambling ring or
Oh,
casino briefcases.
okay.
You know what I mean?
All right, well, move over to that side of the deck.
Okay. Yeah, we can wait over here. And they head over to the side, probably by the little like the nest, at the back of the deck. They're standing against the wall, doing their thing, watching over the crates. You are the only one who notices in the window of the old spa behind them the glow of a cigar.
Bear with me one moment. I'm gonna go check on the spa.
Okay. Make a perception check.
Did I see where Jeb went, Josh?
No, because he went 500 feet vertically. So
Okay.
to your intents and purposes, he just vanished.
Okay.
All right. 13?
The cigar is in one hand, and Mockery's short sword is in her other hand. And she is by the window directly behind the 5 members of the Deadeyes who do not know she is there. The cigar was lit as a way to show you that she was there.
Okay. I lock eyes with where her face should be. Probably can't see it. Mm-hmm. And twitch my eyebrows. And thieves can't.
One of them looks at you. Okay, yeah, go ahead. What do you say?
Oh, it's got to be a double meaning. Double meaning. Okay. No, trust me. I know. Right? All right.
Jeb, you're looking up at the airship. You can't see Fox because he's on the airship doing stuff.
Did I hear them talk at all?
Maybe. Roll perception. DC
My thieves
15.
can't says, so you have this loan secure?
Roll deception with disadvantage because there's 5 of them and they all speak thieves' cant and are also shady characters.
That was the point, was that it would be something that could be interpreted by them as something
I know.
normal.
Yeah, but they're also suspicious people. So we're going to roll with disadvantage deception. The DC is 15. 15 should be easy for you to beat.
You're damn right it is.
Yeah.
21.
It's just the deception because there's so many of them looking at you.
Should be.
They kind of give you a little eyebrow wiggle back, like, yes, the loan is secure. We're going to take care of it. And one of them even like quick flips open the briefcase and shuts it again just to show you their real wingle digits inside, and then shuts it again because they think that's what you're asking is like, where's my proof that this is real? Jeb, what was your perception?
Oh, not a lot.
Okay, so you did not hear Fox yelling to them up there.
Well, okay. And I'm going to hop over to the rope ladder.
As you're walking over there, a random peasant is like, are you Jebediah? Are you Jebediah Peppermint?
Nope, Jeb, he wears that big hat.
Is it
not
true?
Me.
Is
not
it?
me.
Oh, okay. Well, do you know him? You said you know about the hat?
I've heard of him. He's a rascal.
Is it true he wears lifts in his shoes? That's what I heard on the morning's report.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. That's funny. Imagine a short guy wearing lifts in his shoes, and he walks away again.
And start climbing up the rope ladder.
Okay, you climb up the rope ladder. I'll tell you when you get there. Fox, you're up on the deck.
Can I roll perception to see if I see like where the rope ladder's like a little jiggling at the top?
Oh, sure. Yeah, roll perception. You don't even need to roll perception. Yes, you notice.
Okay.
So do the Deadeyes. But
I'm gonna walk over and look down at Jeb. I'm gonna be like, hello?
Oh, hey, pup. Yeah, I'm going to need my hat back, and I got a little bit of trouble. We need to work on some. Probably try to get out of here real soon. Somebody's after me.
Oh.
He says from way below.
Can I roll to connect the dots here?
you don't need to roll to connect the dots. This
Okay,
is probably enough that you can put the pieces together on where you've seen that logo before. Because last time it was you who stepped in front of him when the Deadeyes showed up, and you were like, "Yeah, get on out of here."
Take off my hat and scratch my head. Listen, now we can't take anybody on board. All right, no peasants, no passengers. All right.
I'm not a peasant. What?
Listen, we don't take any snakes on board. All right.
And I continue climbing, but at a slower rate.
Okay.
Now, what did I just tell you? Now, get on, and I'm going to take my hat off, Jebediah's hat, and throw it at him like I'm trying to beat somebody off the ladder.
Okay. The hat flutters down towards Jeb, and because there's that bullet hole in the top, instead of being like a leaf, it, goes in a straight line. And so it actually falls to you, Jeb.
I'll catch it, and I'll put it on my head, and I'm just going to be like, is it my birthday cake?
Sure.
You hear behind
Just
you.
anywhere but here.
Fox, you hear the footsteps behind you of one of the Deadeyes walking up towards you. Who are you yelling to over there? Let me take a look.
People have been trying to get up on this ship all day.
He pulls even with you.
Secure?
He pulls even with you and is about to put his hands on the railing. He's leaning forwards.
I'm going to be like, you're supposed to be watching out for shit like that. I'm going to point behind him and point at the whole group of them. And point at a random bird.
Roll charisma, and I believe you have advantage because you have the rod. But roll charisma to influence him with your behavior. The roll is not difficult.
Just straight charisma, or is this persuasion?
Persuasion, sure. I'll take persuasion.
Okay. 25.
25. Okay. With his 4, he turns around and goes, like what? And he looks over, and the other 4 are looking at you like you're crazy. They're like, it's just a bird, man. It's not.
Yeah. Don't you? That thing could be a shape-shifting druid for all you know. All right?
They squint at you, and one of them goes, you know a lot about shape-shifting?
Blow out the candle. And I continue climbing up. How close am I?
You're like 3/4 of the way there.
I'm going to make the motion of putting out an invisible cigar.
Okay.
All right, now, you've outstayed your welcome here, questioning my authority.
With a smashing of glass, the entire window of the old spa explodes outwards. Mockery has not punched through it with her sword. She has stomped on her cigar, like tossed it on the ground and stomped on it, drawn a second short sword. She's holding them backwards so the blades go down from her fists, and she has picked up the table, the war table, and just shoved it through the window so it is wide enough that it hits all 4 of them, knocking them all prone, and then she drops the table on them and deftly rolls for. She got a nat 20. Deftly rolls out of the window onto them and just kind of hero lands on the table, the 2 short swords out. And she winks at the one Deadeye who's still standing. He turns away like just to flinch, which provokes an opportunity attack from Fox.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to go for the grapple, and I'm going to immediately pull a dagger to his throat.
Okay.
I'm not sure what you roll necessarily. I forget.
Athletics or acrobatics opposed by the same from the other guy.
Okay. 23 acrobatics.
Okay. That's a 13 plus 5 is 18 is not enough. So you successfully grapple, put the dagger to his throat.
Did I stutter when I said you outstayed your welcome?
Mockery is going to take advantage of the stunned condition for the 4 who got knocked over and just coup de grace all 4 of them one at a time. So she just basically walks around and puts them out of their misery.
My deal, my precious deal.
I worked hard on that deal. Jeb, as you climb onto the ship, readying yourself to contribute to the fight, you instead see a tiefling sitting down very casually on what looks like the war table, surrounded by shattered glass with like limbs sticking out from under it, and Fox with a dagger to the neck of one of the Deadeyes. That Deadeye is going to make one roll to try and escape as Jeb climbs up onto the thing. His acrobatics check to escape is a non-natural 20. Fox, go ahead and roll to oppose it with acrobatics or athletics.
Do I have any sort of advantage?
No. This is just a grapple. Just opposed grappling.
Well, that's a 6.
Okay.
Except
He-
it succeeds.
The Rod of Luck.
Oh, the Rod of Luck. Let's go. So it looks for all the world like he's going to escape. And then actually, Fox, describe how in a lucky way you re-restrain him.
Okay.
Like, how is it
He
luck?
catches me off guard, and he's about to twist, and my hand slips, and the dagger falls. And in my panic to readjust him and grab him, my left hand instead grabs the dagger and accidentally jabs him in the way he's twisting. So he's twisting
So it, like,
into the blade.
Yeah, so he like twists back real quick and flinches, and that's what puts him back in your grapple.
And I'm just like, yeah, I caught you doing that. Yeah, that was all me.
Jeb, who of course knows, is like standing there next to you. Okay, and then you are back on the airship, Jeb. This combat is now over. He's not going to fight again after
Okay.
that catch. You know, that was too fast of a response.
Hey, pup, you remember that debt that I thought that I paid off all that time ago?
Yeah?
Well, it looks like they're coming to collect. And
The debt you already paid.
hey, I don't know how these things work. But
All right. Well, seeing how it's already paid, and I'm sure they probably caused you some inconvenience. We'll send a message, right? You like, and I look like the guy I'm holding. You'll send them a message, right?
I mean,
Do
Jeb
you want me
kind
to
of
take him a message? What do you want me to tell him?
Jeb pats
Oh.
Big Boy on his side and says, "I think I'd like to send him a message."
Oh yeah, no, you know what? Straight from your mouth, sure. And I move a little bit so that way the railing's behind me, and I hold him a little over to the left.
Okay.
Yeah. Where's you down in? Is it down at like near tier 1? Where are you located?
No, we're not on tier. He's starting to figure out what you're doing. He's like tensing up a little bit. Like, we're not on tier 1. No, we're not down there. We're in the resident. We're in the walls. We're not on the tiers.
We're in the walls.
Yeah.
he's in the walls.
Just like a rat.
Yeah, just like a rat. Do you think rats can fly?
I mean, there's one way to find out.
It's all you, Jeb.
I don't know, man. We need to. These guys are a cancer, and I hate that they're in here. And I don't feel bad about taking their money. That's something special right there that I wasn't expecting. They were just coming after me for blood. At least, I think.
Jeb, you have about 5 seconds before I do something on your behalf.
He's going to make another attempt to escape.
That's fair.
Yeah. He's rolling.
All right, I got a 15.
Okay, he has a +5 to whatever this roll is. 11 + 4 is 15. Attacker wins in a tie. I don't know who the attacker is in this situation. I think
The
it's
attacker
probably
would be the person grappling.
Yeah, I think it's probably still Fox. I agree.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Fox, he's fighting hard, but you are still restraining him. But it's now like it's an effort again to restrain him. And maybe he's like, wedged an arm in front of the knife hand. Like he's
Yeah, right.
you can't quite press the knife to his throat anymore. So he's trying to break out of the hold.
So what's it gonna be, Jeb?
Let me go, man. Let me go. I'm just the carrier. You know how these people work, man.
I do. You tell Clark. You tell Clark that him and I will settle this. You tell him to come up here on this catwalk.
The 4 dead people roll over in their glassy graves at you calling him Clark instead of Deadeye. Or instead of One Shot.
Yeah. You tell Clark that him and I are going to settle this.
I can tell him. I can tell him. Sure.
I still have him in a grapple, but I flick the dagger away from his throat.
Okay.
I kick him off the edge. He can fall the 30 feet or 20 feet or whatever it is to the catwalk.
Okay. Dang. Yeah, he does not take enough damage to die. So he falls, and you can hear a collective gasp from the people down there. The rumor mill about Four Guys is exploding.
Yeah, I
Let
was
that
worried
be
about
known
that.
what we do to thieves.
Clara and Radford, you are continuing your conversation, trying to find some solution for these monks. When someone runs in and goes, Miss Clara, you were asking about the Four Guys, right? You were hearing. I was telling you all about how like they're evil necromancers, right? Well, those freaking necromancers just killed another guy. They kicked him right off of the boat. They kicked him over the side. I saw him fall. It came right down here to tell you. They're
What kind
here.
of boat? What are you? There's no water here.
No, the flying boat. They got the flying boat up there. They kicked
You're
him right over
thinking
the
an
side.
airboat? Oh my goodness!
Yeah, they kicked him right over the side, Miss Clara. They're here. They're gonna kill us all, turn us into evil undeads.
Oh, honey, calm down. It's gonna be okay. We're gonna go figure this out for you, baby.
It's gonna be just like they did with that weird the fake king in the dwarf place. They're gonna turn us into their evil undead minions.
All right, baby. You cannot believe everything that you see on the TV. Okay, baby. This is not.
But I saw it in the morning's report.
It's going to be all right. How about we just take some deep breaths, okay? Breathe in. Breathe out. All right. Have you had your daily swill?
Yeah, I had my swill this morning.
Okay. Well, just pat your belly. Pat your belly.
It was the one with the...
Give me a smile.
It was the one with the lifts in his shoes and the one who was dating the fish.
I know all about them. I will go and figure out what's true.
Killed him. They kicked him right over the side. We're on
You cannot
danger.
believe everything
Miss Clara,
you see on the
can't go up there.
TeleVibes.
It's not
I'm
safe.
telling you, it's not all real. Some of it is
But
pretend.
Miss Clara, the TeleVibe wouldn't lie.
You just can't believe everything, baby.
But that's what the whole point of bringing the TeleVibes in was
Some
so
of
we
it is
could
for
all get-
fun. You know how sometimes we just tell stories. Some of it is for fun.
No,
okay, so you can't
no.
believe all of it.
Mr. Sav donated them so we could stay in touch with what's happening in the world.
It was really kind of
Yeah.
Sir Topham Zav. It was very kind. But you are getting all worked up, and we're trying to stay calm, right?
It's everything we've heard. All that you said they were just rumors, but it's happening up there.
We'll go check it out, baby. You stay down here. We're going to figure it out.
And on that note, tonight's Dungeons and Dragons session comes to a close.
Don't you dare
Yeah,
end it
I was about to say.
right there. Don't
That's
you
the end.
dare.
That's it. That's the end of the night.
Hey, how dare you take our idea and use it against us?
Dang nab you.
TeleVibing was
Dang
our
nab you
idea.
to heck, DM.
Where did Sir Topham Sav even hear that from? We never told anyone.
Maybe it just wasn't that original.
Parallel discovery, I guess. I don't know.
Them's fighting words.
I'm upset. That's it.
I like that Jeb might have lost a hand, but it's the TeleVibing that really gets you.
I mean,
really upsets you.
You can draw blood, but if you steal intellectual property, oh man.
And the worst part is we can't even take them to court because they'll just nullify the jury.
No.
That's not how that works. We've been over this.
Hey,
We have done nothing but been over
Here's
this.
something fun we haven't done before. From all of us here at the Wing Badger Tavern, Clara, what do we tell the people?
Oh my goodness. When you got wings, you hear things, baby. All right.
That's
you
not
have
what
a
we
good
tell 'em.
night. GGs and GNs.
That's the one. Bye, everybody.